Alright, are we live? Game's pretty silent, so yeah, we live. Alright, guys. Excuse me, I just finished eating dinner. Anyway, it is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monday Night Livestream with your host, animefanrk2k here. We are playing the Fruit of Grisaia. And just that, I don't know if my sounds are all good or not, but they should be. So let's continue. Anyway, a personality starts off as something like a cube. Going right into this. They were still within the midst of flashback too. I think we got over the most of the hump of Yumiko's terrible childhood. So, not nearly as bad as some of the others, granted, but you know, not the best. You know, when we're young, clumsily bump our corners against other people in the form of childish conflicts. Eventually, our sharp edges are worn away to leave something more like a sphere. That's more or less what people are describing when they say someone's softened. Moderate collisions with others help us mature, but when those first impacts are too strong, they can have a different effect. Instead of losing our corners little by little, we splinter in strange, harsh ways, warping into crooked shapes. Once crooked, it's hard to become a sphere. Even as the people around them mellow, their sharpness only grows harsher. Everyone who approaches ends up getting hurt. I'm just running over something right here on my feet. Move! Move! What's my iPad wire? Move wire! Anyway. But even the most warped human beings started off the same shape as everyone else. Sometimes they look back on the past and grieve. Sometimes they wonder if it's not too late to reshape themselves. And because they know that's an empty dream, they grieve once again. Sekai Yumiko is one of many such sad, distorted objects. And we have sound again. The rain, which I had taken for a passing shower, continued long after the thunder passed away. By the time we leave our cover in a lingering drizzle, the sun's already set. Oh, we're back in the present time. Yeah, flashback's over. A change from the usual routine, I hurry down the road home with an arm wrapped around Sekai, who stumbles along unsteadily at my side. Unfortunately. The rain's very weak by now, but the constant dampness has left her body noticeably chilled. And at the moment, her emotional state is a bit of a concern as well. I lean closely over Sekai as we walk, sheltering her from the rain as best I can. That relatively brief journey back to the dorm feels awfully long right now. Mana yelps in surprise the instant she lays eyes on us. Was it that much of a shock to see me holding Sekai by the shoulder? Well, considering the girl's normal personality, I suppose it's only reasonable to jump straight to assuming something's physically wrong with her. Got caught in that downpour, that's all. Shelter from the rain for a while. Oh, so we don't get to like see Sekai in this school and be greeting everyone as they come in? Physical condition aside, Sekai seems badly drained in spirit. That that word I mispronounced. That uncharacteristic weakness from before is still plainly evident in her tone. Alright, let me just make sure everything's in order here. There you go. I think Sekai showed any weakness to anybody at the school prior to Yuji just now. We don't see a drenched Sekai and Yuji. Well, it's called your imagination. And plus, this game is fully voice acted for the majority of everybody except Yuji and his thoughts. So, I will, you know, I'll give them a pass on that. Well, as I was saying, like, Amane, I think, is the only one that Yumiko will occasionally rely on. Other than Yuji now, I guess. Appreciate it.
いいわよ、これぐらい。それよりほら、早く。
Everyone's soaked! Making a note. Once I'm old and gray, I'm going to write Amane was like a mother to us all in my memoirs.
お礼のつもりだったら、吹き込むような表記はマジ勘弁して。
I mean, Amane basically is like that, right? As soon as I got Sakaki to her room, she collapsed into her bed. Normally, she would have ejected me to change out of her wet clothes. She's currently lacking the energy and willpower to bother.
よほど疲れてたのね。もう寝ちゃったわよ、榊さん。
Yeah. The hot orange and honey drink Amane provided seemed to calm Sakaki down. Didn't take long at all for her to nod off. Think she's got a slight fever as well. We're out in the rain and all.
みたいね。ちょっと暑いかな。
Amane's just like touching her boobs. Because that's what Amane does. What? Lightly holding her hand to Sakaki's forehead, Amane nods in agreement. Okay, no. She just touched her forehead. Sakaki doesn't seem to be in any real discomfort. I can tell that she's breathing a little roughly. In any case, thanks for the help, Amane. I'm going to keep an eye on her for a little longer. You can head back to your room. What about her wet clothing? Amane's response seems oddly hesitant. What's wrong?
ねえ、ユージ。
Yes?
あのさ、分かってるとは思うけど、やっちゃダメだからね。
Amane's like, I read the other routes. I know what's kind of going on, boy. Damn. Amane, stop breaking the fourth wall, please. The hell?
だからさ、二人っきりじゃん？看病してるわけじゃない？
By the way, let me just put it out there. That's not how you nurse someone back to health. Don't drain them more of their stamina. Come on.
そしたらなんかこう、ついでにしちゃったら大変だし、その風邪うつっちゃったら大変かなって。
Face falls into my palm. For some reason, I find myself recalling a gag brain graph website Sachi showed me once. Just by entering someone's name, you get a brain-shaped pie chart breaking down the composition of their thoughts. Oh yeah, I used to do those. I didn't think to try Amane at the time. I think hers would be divided in half right down the middle. One side would be folksy grandma wisdom. The other, I should probably go without saying, would be branded with the word sex. You think I'm going to start making babies like a rabbit the moment someone leaves me in a cage with a female? Does this scenario play out frequently inside that filthy mind of yours?
だから大事に至らないように釘刺しておこうっていうことよ。わかるでしょ、そういうの。
That's all Amane thinks about, guys. Being a mom to everyone, sex. We're not quite sure how she balances it, but anyway. It's still not entirely clear to me what Amane is so worried about. I find it extremely unpleasant to have such aspersions cast on my character. Well, I mean, that's true, too. Like, really? Of all people, Yuji is what you're worried about? Come on. Well, it's not a bad idea, come to think of it.
何がよ。
I've heard that a slight fever can actually make for a more enjoyable experience in some respects. now he's in full, like, making fun of her mode. Alright then, might as well put that to the test. Not like you can catch a fever intentionally. I'll admit I'm curious. I'm sure Sakaki will understand. A little experimentation like this can only enrich your life, right? She might end up thanking me for expanding her horizons. The thought hadn't even occurred to me. But thanks to a tip from my sexually savvy friend Amane, a new world of possibility awaits. Life is always overflowing with chances to explore the wonders of the unknown. Deeply impressed by your ability to keep that in mind even at a time like this. Thank you, Amane. Amane? Amane stares back at me with blank eyes of a broken electronic toy. Smiling brightly, I give her a friendly thump on the shoulder. It was a joke. Oh my god, she actually hit him? Amane's karate chop lands a critical hit smack in the middle of my weary head. From outside, an owl hoots in mournful commiseration. I said I understand, didn't I? Come on, get lost already. Amane backed slowly out of the room, staring at me reproachfully all the way. I was only teasing her a little in retaliation for slandering me, but it seems I've ended up deepening her unfounded suspicions. Probably best to consider the possibility she might try to half-ass try some half-assed wiretapping outside the door. Shaking my head, I return to Sakaki's side. Her breath is coming regularly, a little more quietly than before. She doesn't seem to have noticed commotion in the slightest. Well, that's definitely for the best. Borrowing the chair from Sakaki's desk, I ease myself down and look her over at a closer range. Alright guys, I know they didn't mention it, but I'm going to assume that there was a changing of clothing involved on both Yuji and Sakaki's ends. Come to think of it, this is the first time I've seen her sleeping. Oh, the girl really does have a pretty face. She's constantly forcing it into a scowl, so it's easy not to notice at times. But Sakaki Yumiko is definitely what you call a beauty. Beijing. Yo, that's a good point, King. Yeah, we're surprised that Amina didn't want a threesome. That's very true. She'd be like, yo, if you're doing anything, let me know. You know what I mean. Yeah, that's actually very surprising too. It's because Amina is like right in the middle of that mom. She's both like wants to be motherly wisdom, motherly nurturing to everybody, and at the same time wants sex. That's why. That's probably why she didn't immediately go to threesome. Right now, that face is relaxed, her eyes shut, her cheeks slightly flushed. Sakaki looks very calm and peaceful at the moment. Much of her life has been an emotional roller coaster of loneliness, hope, and anger. Now that I know the whole story, her usual prickly attitude is all too understandable. Rest easy, alright? I'll protect you. Lightly reached down to put my hand on her forehead, currently covered in a damp towel. The moisture against my palm is slightly warm from the heat of her fever. Early the next morning, I'm stretching in preparation for my usual running when I hear quiet footsteps on the stairs. I mean, that's true, huh? I don't know, actually, Amina seems like the type who would want her OTP, man. Like, she wouldn't... Like, you know what? I'd say Makina would be the one that'd be down for a threesome with anybody. Which is kind of weird, because she's the lolly, but, like, Amina actually seems the type who believes that, yo, you should have one partner and that's it. I think she's more like the true love type. I don't think she was kidding when she said, like, when they first met, she said, I fell in love with you at first sight. Like, she believes in that style. You know? Yo. Familiar look of mild surprise. However, where Sakaki's expression would normally shift to a frown, today it changes to something hesitant and uncertain. What's the matter? Face is red. Still carrying that fever around? Oh, it's because now Yuji knows. Man, Yuji must have been very, very good at changing those towels. And there wasn't an entire scene that was probably taken out at some point, right? What? Good to hear. I didn't do anything worth being thanked for. You asked for my permission before you started talking, and I agreed to listen. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, she's actually, she's not frowning. Notice Sakaki tends to grow oddly sullen when the topic of my job comes up. Today she seems downright docile. The girl does look healthy enough. Still, it's entirely possible yesterday's events left some lingering psychological effects. Sakaki. As long as your request is in place, I'll protect you. Rest assured, that's all. Finishing my leg stretches, I stand up and check the clock. Just about time for me to be heading out. I'm going to be running for a while, unless you need anything. Alright then, see you this afternoon. Hey! Feeling Sakaki's eyes following me from behind, I leave the dorm. I don't have much to offer Sakaki right now. A simple promise is the best he can do. Hopefully that's enough to provide some reassurance. The past can't be taken back no matter how hard you try. That's the lesson I myself learned all too well. All the more reason she has to value her present. Hopefully, they've just given up, but fortunately, the threats approaching Sakaki have gone quiet for the moment. If this pattern continues, shouldn't it be hard for me to keep my promise? I mean, he says this as if he wouldn't keep it even if it was hard to. As long as I keep coming up with bad excuses to feed to JB, I'll protect you. Wait, what? And a few days later, in the echo of Sakaki's past, the hopeful present abruptly takes a sharp turn for the worse. Alright, Sakaki, can you keep running? So she says, but it's obvious at a glance that the girl is close to her limit. Harsh gasps for air interrupt the feeble words coming out of her mouth. Damn it, they caught me napping! Seemingly taking my words of regret as their cue, a number of men swiftly surround us. Protecting Sakaki behind my back, I confront the semicircle of attackers that look suspiciously like the last one, and the one before that. Sort of scene has certainly become common enough over the last month. But this time our opposition is in an entirely different league. Really? They look exactly the same as the last times. Was this what they were aiming for all along? They stopped the car above the riverbank and came down on us suddenly. Up until that point it was the same as usual. But as my master once told me, relying on precedent is a dangerous game. Always think outside the range of your predictions. A lesson, it seems, I didn't learn nearly well enough. So I readied myself for another simple one-by-one attack. The first 3 men out of the car charged at me simultaneously. What? Caught by my surprise, I faltered for just a moment, seized their chance to execute a beautifully coordinated attack. The first 2 moved to grab my arms and legs, while the trailing man came straight at me to deliver a disabling blow. The fight would have been over in seconds if I misjudged the attacks from the left and right even slightly. Stooping down to avoid their grasping arms, I kicked the first man's ankle and chopped my hand into the second man's liver. Since when did they attack at go? I didn't even have time to catch my breath before the third man's fist came down on me from above. Sure reflex got my elbow up in time to block the punch. His attacks continue in an unrelenting stream. They have more dudes? Is that what it is? Damn it, that hurts, asshole. This guy had some impressive back muscles, and he knew how to use them. His tightly clenched fist swung down on my head at the force of 2 massive hammers. A single direct hit would have given me a concussion at the very least, and knockout seemed a very real possibility. Ha! A sharp battle cry. I slipped by the hammerman's side and drove my heel into his knee. The hammer stopped in his tracks. As he reflexively reached down for his right leg, I followed up with a second kick, this time to the head. Someone managed to bring down the first wave of attackers. The dramatic change in their tactics was alarming. I could feel my heart thudding frantically in my chest. Yuji doesn't have Zawaldo. That's Dio. They tried that with a bigger team. It's going to get ugly. My instinctive response was to run for it with Sakaki in tow. Unfortunately, our enemies clearly anticipated that. Where they used to have their entire force charged down from the car, this time they set up a second team further along the bank to cut off our retreat. Can't let them all attack at once or it's game over. Carefully size up the group of men surrounding us. One thing's immediately clear. There's not going to be an easy way out this time. Listen, Sakaki. I'm going for a preemptive strike. Once I open a gap in their perimeter, make a run for it. I'll keep them off your back. There's no time to bait this. Let's go. Break into a sprint, heading for a point where 3 of the 5 men surrounding us can easily move to intercept. As expected, they instantly launch a simultaneous attack, aiming to trap me in a pincer. There we go! I dodged grasping arms from the left and right at the very last possible moment, slipping forward to leave 2 of the men charging directly at each other. Oh no! The pair of dark-suited men jerked to an unsteady halt like a pair of outfielders chasing the same fly ball. Seeing the moment, I grabbed them by the legs and flipped them off their feet. 2 men hit the ground headfirst with a satisfying pair of thunks. Before I can even confirm they're staying down, their buddies got a sleeper chokehold on me from behind. He also went hee hee. But I'd seen this coming from the moment he started circling around behind me. Bend back into the hold and strain my abdominal muscles and swing my body sharply forward. Toss over my shoulder in a throw you might see in a judo competition. The man flies a good 2 meters forward before landing face first in the dirt. That's 3 taken care of. Now all I need to do is keep the 2 coming from behind occupied long enough for Sakaki to clear. Alright, now run, Sakaki! Hurry up! Still shooting reluctant glances in my direction, Sakaki begins to run along the riverbank. The other 2 attackers quickly try to slip past me and pursue her. Not happening. As the pair splits apart to either side, I hurl a stone tied to a heavy string toward the feet of the faster runner. Tripped up by the cord, the man turns a somersault in the air and lands awkwardly on the ground, one arm crutching loudly underneath him. Even as I'm confirming that he's down, I've begun to grapple with his partner. The moment we come to grips, it's clear to me that I've left the most troublesome one in the bunch for the last. His physique didn't particularly stand out in this group, but he's got dense muscles and an excellently balanced body. It's exactly his sort of fight. I was hoping to take him down smoothly and catch up with Sakaki, but guess that's not happening. I can only pray Sakaki managed to get out of here on her own. Silent except for his intermittent breathing, the man moves his body back and forth in a variety of ways, probing for a gap in my defenses. It's a far cry from the frantic wriggling of an amateur. Every movement has meaning. Can't let down my guard for even a moment. Please get out of here. Keeping half my eye on Sakaki, I desperately hold him in check. Just as she's finally reaching the foot of the slope, distracted by the fight behind her, Sakaki stumbles over a heavy patch of undergrowth and falls to the ground. Sakaki! For a split second, her scream distracts me. Dizzyingly intense pain shoots through my left arm. He got me. I can feel the skin of my arm rapidly growing hot, as if suddenly plunged into a tub of boiling water. A small glinting silver knife sticks straight out of the forearm like some absurd work of modern art. My grip on the man weakens against my will. In an instant, he's broken free of the grapple. The corners of his mouth curl up in something vaguely resembling a smile as he turns his attention to Sakaki. She's crying. Sakaki scrambles frankly across the ground, her face distorted with terror. As if savoring the moment, the man begins to loop toward her at a relaxed pace. His first moment of carelessness. I won't let you. So, with one sharp yank, tear the knife out of my arm, then hurl it at the man's ankle. The man collapses onto the ground and reaches down for his wounded leg. Before he can get his hands around the knife, I straddle him and smash a fist into his solar plexus. Gastric juice spraying from his mouth, the man loses consciousness. Whew. Let's get tacos. What? I feel blood flowing rapidly out of my body. Abruptly released from the tension of the fight, exhausted and bleeding, I look up to find the world swaying before my eyes. Sakaki rises to her feet and runs over. Staring wide-eyed at the blood streaming down my arm, she pressed her hand to her mouth, speechless with horror. I'm fine. You need to get out of here, Sakaki. Hurry. It'll be alright once I stop the bleeding. Get moving. There might be more where those guys came from. Completely ignoring my repeated instructions to run, Sakaki reaches in her breast pocket, takes out a handkerchief and holds it to my wound. A pure white piece of cloth is quickly dyed bright red. Her anguished expression distorts still further. I've heard people say women are a little less queasy about blood because of their regular menstrual cycle, but I doubt that makes an injury like this any less surreal and terrifying. Telling you, it's fine. Right now, you need to. Sakaki's face is filled with uncharacteristically raw and obvious emotion. Then again, lately I've seen quite a few human expressions starting to leak out from behind that indifferent front of hers. In any case, there's no point letting this circular argument drag on forever. Just wasting time at this point. Fine, tie it tightly just under the elbow. Sorry about the handkerchief. Keep it over the wound itself for now. There should be bandages in my bag. Can you wrap one over the entire area? Appreciate it. With my guidance, Sakaki performs some rudimentary first aid. Soon I'm back on my feet. The blood loss has left me more than a little lightheaded. We nonetheless hurry along the road home as quickly as possible. After all, there's no telling what else these people might have planned. The old rules clearly no longer apply. Sakaki hasn't spoken a word, most likely out of concern for me. It's painfully obvious that she's worried. That only makes this feel even worse. Pathetic. What kind of bodyguard makes the client worry about them? The moment I've got to get us back to safe ground and plan some immediate countermeasures. Our tactics have changed on a fundamental level. Can't get away with the usual routine anymore. Across from the red glow of the setting sun, a flock of black rain clouds push threateningly into the sky as if to reinforce the looming threat. Looks like it's going to be another rainy night. Another bloody night of Yuji having a hurt arm.
そうか。傷は負わせることに成功したんだな。次は確実に仕留めろ。
Damn you, Michiaki.
ああ、やむを得ん状況ならば殺しても構わん。由美子が暴れるようなら無理にでも車に押し込めて連れてこい。いいな、邪魔はさせん。私は私のやりたいようにやるのだ。
This guy, man, he's a douchebag.
私の言うことを聞け、由美子。
No.
Okay. ちょっと
Oh yeah, that's right. Yuji's actually hurt. Everyone's like, what? Understandably, it doesn't take long for Amina to notice that something's wrong. Practically the moment we're inside the dorm, her shocked voice attracts the attention of everyone lounging around the lobby. As they run up, the blood seems to drain from their faces. As it does down out of my arm. What?
これどうしたのよさ、お兄ちゃん。包帯が真っ赤です。血で。
Dude, just go to the school and talk to her? What?
何？事故とか？それとも何かあったの？ねえ。
Is Michiru just like completely an idiot in this route because she's just left out of everything all the time? The lazy summer evening quickly gives way to a borderline panic.
とりあえず病院へ連絡した方がいい？それとも連れて行こうか？
No, there are complicated circumstances, so I prefer not to make too much of a scene. A little treatment here should be enough. Sachi?
はい。
Oh, Sachi maid mode. Sorry, but can you help me out?
はい、わかりました。今すぐ。私も手伝うわ。お湯とか沸かせばいいんだっけ？
Do you want me to bleed out, girl?
みちる様、お子さんを産むわけではありません。
I mean,
でも清潔なタオルとかそういうのは必要です。オッケー。
Sachi and Michiru noisily dash back to their respective rooms. Guess I'll head to my room for the moment. Sakaki, would you help me over there?
ええ、もちろんよ。
Oh, her voice is shaking. Appreciate it.
部屋に行って詳しい話を聞くしかなさそうね。妙な匂いがプンプンなのよさ。
Why does it look like close of the Machina out of nowhere? She's like, hi, I'm Machina. Saw my route 2 routes ago. A few minutes after Sakaki helped me into bed, Sachi treats my wound with the skill of an experienced nurse. It's no worse than what I would have gotten at the hospital. Our maid's fearsome capabilities in this field are worthy of further examination, but for the moment, explaining the situation to the uneasy classmates gathered around me has to come first.
なんかとんでもない話になってきたわね。
I'm going to respond to my brief summary with those words and a worried sigh. Everyone had some idea that Sakaki had been coming under attack, but a knife coming into play seems to have left them more than a little disturbed. It was the Iris Machina cam? Fair.
ユミちゃんに何もなかったのは幸いだったのよさ。さすがは風見さんです。とはいえ、傷は心配ですが。
Good job being a bodyguard, but seriously, why'd you get hurt? You don't need to worry about me. The change in strategy just caught me by surprise today. I won't slip up like that next time.
そうなの。ユミコもユージも大丈夫って思っていいのよね。
Yeah, of course. It's a lie. An attempt to reassure them, nothing more. The ex-military man who knifed me today was a seriously tough opponent, and the others were no slouches either. Even under ideal circumstances, would have been a tough fight. My failure this time is only going to encourage them to double down on the tough tactics. While they can bring in fresh bodies, my cuts and bruises are going to start slowing me down eventually. I need to start devising countermeasures sooner rather than later. Sakaki's been very quiet for a while now. Her face is distinctly downcast. It's not like it's not like she's the one who stabbed me, but since she's been known to try on occasion, it's probably better not to joke about that. Wow. Sorry, but I'm feeling a little tired. Think you can let me sleep for a while?
そっか、了解。じゃあ私らは退散するわね。
Even Amina doesn't seem eager to throw the usual banter around. Understandable under the circumstances. Sakaki, I'm sure today was a little nerve-wracking for you. Being alone might be frightening right now, so why don't you sleep over in someone else's room? Sorry, Sachi, but would you mind?
はい、わかりました。榊さん、行きましょう。
Hey, here's the countermeasure. Under your bed starts with a G, as in gun, grenade, girl, as in Sachi's there. Wait, what? Wait, what? Sachi, what are you doing down there? Why are you one of my ultimate weapons? Wait.
わかったわ。
Let me know immediately if you notice anything suspicious. I haven't tried anything on school grounds so far. There's no telling what comes next.
はい、了解です。
Sachi's like excellent. Guard. That's what the G stands for. Guard. You have to learn to dodge. Sakaki barely said a word right up until the moment Sachi hustled her out of the room. That weighs on my mind a little, but even as I tried to think it over, I feel myself sinking slowly into unconsciousness. Kyo, wrong game, get back on the phone. As I sleep, I dream of Sakaki. I see her as a young girl, standing very still in absolute darkness, sobbing endlessly. When I approach, her appearance changes to the young woman I know. But the tears don't stop flowing down her face. No matter what I say to her, Sakaki stands oblivious in the darkness, crying bitter tears. Sakaki? The moment I wake up, I notice an odd sensation enveloping my left hand. The darkened room is silent, but I sense someone's presence nearby. This almost feels like a continuation of the dream. When I move my eyes to the side, the truth becomes clear. Sakaki. I'm sure Sachi ushered her out of the room. She'd be sleeping by now. Instead, she's sitting at my side. Now that's some decent bandage treatment.
ごめんなさい。起こしてしまったかしら。
It's alright. Got some sleep. Have you been sitting here all this time? She answers with a quiet nod.
どうしても心配だったから、小峰さんの部屋に着いてすぐ戻ってきてしまったの。
Ah.
で、ずっと握っててごめんなさい。
Strange warmth surrounding my left wrist was coming from Sakaki's hands. I don't really mind.
そう。
Aw, she's sad. Sakaki's downturned eyes briefly steal a glance at my face. They're a little bloodshot, and I can see a hint of red in her cheeks. Seems that dream just now might have been accurate in a way.
本当にごめんなさい。
Stroking my hand a little, she speaks in a sincerely apologetic tone. Nothing to worry yourself over. When you're on guard duty, that sort of thing's always a possibility. Let's just be thankful no one ended up in a hospital.
でも
The look on her face, I can tell Sakaki isn't remotely convinced by this line of argument. Look, it's nothing you need to feel guilty about. I accepted your request, so I'll put my body on the line when necessary. If I get a little banged up, as long as you're safe, that's a success.
成功なわけないでしょ。何を言ってるの。
Sadaki? Aw, that's really bad. All of a sudden, her quiet voice grows rough and quavery.
何を言ってるのよ。本当にこんな怪我して。
Seems I chose my words somewhat poorly. Sakaki's reached the end of her endurance. Tears, clearly not the first she shed tonight, fall onto my bandaged hand. Sakaki.
ごめんなさい。私この間からあなたに情けない姿ばかりを。
Eh, it's okay, girl. It's your route after all. You make every scene. Quiet crying begins to grow in intensity. Grasping my palm tightly, Sakaki heaves with sobs like a frightened child, teardrops raining from her face. Her voice echoes loudly inside the otherwise hushed room. From outside the window, I can hear the faint sound of water coming through the air. Come to think of it, the forecast today called for rain a little after midnight. It's exactly the sort of dark, ugly rain Sakaki hates so much.
怖いのよ。怖くて仕方ないの。
After a few minutes of wordlessly crying, those words slip out of her mouth. Of what?
私のために周囲の人がこんな目に遭うのが本当に怖くて嫌で仕方ないのよ。このままだと風見くんも寮の子たちだって私のせいで嫌な目に遭わせてしまうかもしれない。
Sakaki squeezes down tighter and tighter. A tear lands on top of her rigid, trembling hands. Then another.
もうあんなことは本当に。
By the way, why you keep talking about frozen turkeys, Shade? Losing her mother, betrayed by her father, denied even the chance to make friends. She was pushed into a mock school built as a gilded cage. On an emotional level, it's not surprising that Sakaki finds this latest breakdown deeply painful. But that's also exactly why I want to do something for her. The job isn't easy under these circumstances. If I can give her some peace of mind, I honestly don't mind taking a few wounds like this. Looking at Sakaki's miserable face, I find myself regretting that I didn't manage to pass it off as a lighter injury.
あなたを風見くんをこれ以上苦しめるわけにはいかない。
Don't say that. Don't worry about me. I can still do my job, even if...
分かってよ。私あなたのことを本当に心配しているのよ。
Her voice is desperate, forced from the tears. Can't remember the last time I felt such powerful hatred for my own incompetence. Complete silence settles over the room. Sakaki's eyes don't leave mine. The sorrowful expression on her face, she opens her mouth and speaks sorrowful words.
あなたを解雇します。
What was that? For a moment I wonder if I misheard. She doesn't hesitate to confirm my fears.
依頼だからなのよね。私を守ってくれるのは。だからあなたを解雇します。
What are you saying? You saw those people today. Without me around next time, they'll definitely...
構わないわ。それであなたや寮のみんなが無事なら。
To be certain, although they attacked me today, their target is Sakaki alone. If I leave her side, the main threat disappears. Those dangerous goons will probably decrease in number, maybe even disappear altogether. But of course, that's simply because they'll be able to accomplish their objective, even without the muscle. I swore I'd protect Sakaki. For making a promise like that, I can't accept the request to abandon her. Sorry, but you're still in danger. Not willing to shrug my shoulders and walk away. I refuse to resign.
ダメよ。強制的にでも破棄するわ。
Do you know what you're saying here? These people aren't playing around anymore. You're going to...
分かってちょうだい。
Listen to me, Sakaki.
分かって。お願いだから。お願いだから。分かってよ。
Sakaki's expression tells the story. This isn't something she just said on the spur of the moment. It was a painful decision made after long thought. The tracks her tears have left on her face, the tightly clenched hands, the anguished inner debate has left its marks on her. Just because I understand the depths of her resolve doesn't mean I can accept this. It's painfully frustrating to know my sloppiness drove her to such an agonizing decision. Alright, I accept your dismissal. Sakaki isn't going to budge no matter what I say. For a moment, there's no other way to give her relief. The instant I speak those words, tension drains out of her hands. It's as if a heavy weight has fallen from her shoulders, as if she's lost something precious. A hollow excuse for a smile on her face. Sakaki continues to apologize to me. Don't apologize. You're not in the wrong. Sound of the rain outside gradually grows louder. A harsh pattering fills the dark room, cut off even from the light of the moon. As of this day, my employment with Sakaki Yumiko came to an end in the form of a dismissal. Things are no better than they were at the beginning. The one's been saved. It's the emptiest of all possible conclusions. Well, that sucks. My contract with Sakaki is at an end. No longer obligated to guard her. Our classmates were uniformly surprised by the news. They haven't pestered Sakaki about her reasons. I think they've more or less figured out why she made that painful decision. Makina, you ready to go? Amane had a shopping list too, didn't she? Don't forget it or things might get scary later. Are we taking a solid snake? What did you miss? Sakaki was very emotional. She came to a painful decision and she fired Yuji from his bodyguard duty. And now Makina's here. Okay, kid, you're just off character now. Don't tally-ho me, Makina. Her feet pattering noisily against the carpet, Makina heads up to Amane's room. On the other side of the lobby, Sachi's stooping slightly in the attentive pose of an old-time newspaper reporter, jotting down Sakaki's words in a small memo pad.
Hai, wakarimashita. Gomennasai. Amari soto ni deru wake ni mo ikanai kara. Ii desu. Enryo sarezu ni nandemo o moshitsuke kudasai. Arigatou.
Oh, is Sachi playing the "I'm gonna hole up in here a little bit" game? There's no scoop involved. We're going out for a shopping trip. Sakaki's asking us to pick up a few things, just like Amane. So no more bad excuse Yuji for now. For now. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll have more bad excuse Yuji to protect Sakaki, you know? I dismiss you as my bodyguard. I'm not doing this as your bodyguard. I'm doing this as your friend. Which probably the actual reason, but you know, whatever. Let's go! Yep. Answering my younger classmates, I glanced to the far side of the lobby. Sakaki's been reading on a sofa at the side of the large front windows for a while now. From the desultory way she's picking through the pages, I think it's safe to say she isn't particularly focused on the story. She glanced up from the page briefly. Her eyes meet from across the room. Sakaki looks away, gets to her feet, and walks off in the direction of her room.
Kazami-san?
Right, yeah. About time we got going. Since relieving me of my position, Sakaki hasn't set foot outside the school walls. That's partially because of her own instinct for self-preservation, and partially because of me. Girls decided it's no longer possible to actively protect herself against the clear threat posed by those attackers. She dismissed me so I wouldn't be dragged into a losing battle on her behalf. But even after that, I continue keeping an eye on Sakaki, if more indirectly than before. I try to keep my distance, but I'm never too far away to respond in case something happens. I think Sakaki's faintly aware of that. It's probably part of the reason she's starting herself up in the dorm instead of going outside and making my life harder. It's not like she's come out and told me any of this, of course, but considering her behavior until now, it seems like a natural interpretation. Welcome back. Sakaki defiantly rejected the life of a bird in a cage, acting as she's pleased even in the face of threats, but now she's locked up once again. My determination to protect the girl is part of what's now fencing her in. It's honestly pretty damn frustrating. That sucks. Amana's shopping list isn't too huge today. My young classmates only need a few things themselves, all of which we find easily enough. That said, the total time investment on this trip turns out to be fairly sizable. Sakagi's shopping list reflects her personality. It's neatly and methodically written, even naming specific manufacturers and product numbers. One day I'll understand the mean that is the Fruit of Grisaia? Maybe. Got Rocky Road? Ice cream? Sachi insists we conduct a painstakingly hunt for the exact items described, so this final part of the trip is taking longer than the rest combined.
でも、ここまで細かく言っていただけると、買う方としては助かります。
Sachi's like buying like making her own graphite to make lead for Sakaki otherwise. Sachi smiles peacefully, allowing the eco-friendly reusable shopping bags dangling from her hands to sway back and forth. Naturally, she brought enough of those things for all of us. Not that it's anything new, but you're sure on top of things, Sachi.
はい、備えあれば憂いなしと申しますから。すべてにおいて通じる言葉です。
Yeah, true enough. I love that cliche in my workplace too.
避妊用品も常に持ち合わせていれば、あ、と思った際にも慌てずに済みますよね。つまりはそういうことです。
What? 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 Right, sure. It's a bit late to lament my role in the rising levels of vulgarity around here, but when a girl who comes off as innocence personified starts talking like this, I can't help feeling a little guilty. But then again, lately I've been starting to think a good part of the problem might lie inside Sachi herself. Sachi. Pervert. But as I'm considering the matter, Sachi comes to a stop with a small surprised sound. She's gazing a little way down the street with a curious expression on her face. What's wrong, Sachi? Turn to follow her gaze. What the hell is that woman doing? A certain blonde has parked herself by the side of the road. God damn it, Jamie! Ensconced in the driver's seat of her tacky bright yellow sports car, she kicks her bare legs into the air in a tacky display of irritation, turning every male head in the area. She's putting on a big show of waiting for someone, looking down at her watch with a pouty expression of boredom, occasionally even whining to her audience. An accurate evaluation. As I bring a hand to my forehead and sigh heavily, the bare-legged blonde in question turns in our direction.
Hi!
Damn it! Nope. Her date is Yuji, always king. And with a greeting more appropriate for a co-ed hitchhiker stranded in the Utah desert, she favors me with a nauseatingly sweet smile. Alright, let's go. No reason to hang around here all day. Seriously avoiding eye contact, I attempt to play dumb.
ちょっとおい、何無視ってんのよ。こっちは1時間もこうして待ってたのよ。ガン無視ってことはないでしょ。ねえってば。
Abort the fucking mission! Abort! Abruptly switching to fluent and idiomatic Japanese you never expect from someone with her appearance, JB calls to stop me. I obey, feeling my face settle in an expression of profound irritation. What's this? Here I was, thinking the owner of some cheap sex shop decided to announce his grand opening and renting a walking billboard bimbo. But it's just my good friend JB doing her thing. What can I do for you?
これまで功労者として多めに見てきたけど、その暴言はもはや許せないわ。風見裕二。
Look, JB, I'm not particularly criticizing you. I have the greatest respect for your professional capabilities. All I'm saying is, given your age, it might be time to quit this hobby of wandering around town in clueless foreigner mode, while dirty old men undress you with their eyes. No offense intended.
あんた、絶対に次の移動でアフガンかソマリアに飛ばしてやるから覚悟しときなさいよね。
Is it like Makina and Sachi right there? That might be a nice change of pace. I'm currently unemployed, you see. Really makes you realize the importance of having a nice, steady job.
は？何言ってるの？あなた今。
Halfway through the sentence, JB bites her tongue. Oh shit, information! Sachi and Makina are at my side, and we're in the middle of a public street full of random civilians. Not exactly the time or place to discuss my job.
学生なのに無職とは面白いご身分ね。
Good save. Well, I suppose not. That's why I'm enjoying a lazy summer vacation instead of polishing my resume.
ねえ、ちょっと話があるんだけど、これから少し付き合わない？
Nope. What? Right now?
ええ、すぐに。
Nope. Sounds like another troublesome discussion awaits. JB still got a light-hearted expression on her face, but she spoke those words just now in a familiar deadpan tone of voice. From years of experience, I know it means that this is somehow related to work. JB, stop spilling cosmetic secrets! Oh man, just because Yuji always pisses her off. Sorry, but would you two mind going back first?
はい、わかりました。
フレッシュな小娘2人放置プレイでそっちの存在感のない金髪とんのか。お兄ちゃんってそんな熟女好きだったか？
Damn, Makina is good with her words.
存在感のない金髪。
Oh my god, that was a critical against JB even! Alright, Makina, you just gained 3 points of respect. You're at like 7 now. That's pretty good considering yeah, Savage Makina for the win right there.
ちなみに存在感ある金髪ってのはチルチルのことな。ありゃ忘れようと思っても無理な話やで。
Whoa! Savage roast number 2! Saying the bottle blonde is the more unforgettable blonde, comparably so. Damn!
存在感。
Wow. JB's dead. She's dead. That's it. Interesting how that part bothers you more than the mature woman crack.
ほらマキちゃん、風見さん困ってるよ。
No, Yuji's enjoying himself.
わーったよ。お兄ちゃん、ちゃんとおいたせずにまっすぐ帰ってくるのよ。
Never thought Makina would be the one saying that to me. The times are truly changing.
それじゃあ春寺さん、失礼します。風見さん、先に戻りますね。
Sorry about that. Sachi promptly leaves, dragging a grumbling Makina along with her.
存在感ないかな。結構目立つと思ってたんだけどな。
I mean, have you met Michiru? Man, no one ever forgets her. Don't take the kid's crap seriously. Come on, let's get going already. Why is it that all the women in my life, regardless of age and personality, uniformly manage to give me headaches? Sakaki's begun to shut herself up in her room. Obviously, her visits to the riverbank have stopped as well. After a few minutes zipping down country roads in JB's ridiculously flashy car, the two of us take a seat near the otherwise deserted area where the incidents occurred.
そう。やっぱり個人的に護衛を頼まれていたのね。
And I wasn't specifically restricted from accepting, but in any case, it's been over a few days now. For the moment, I explained the details of my recent unemployment to JB. I expected her to be a little more surprised by Sakaki's request, and my decision to accept it, but she doesn't even bat an eyelid. Kind of kills my momentum. Suppose JB may have done a little investigation on her own as part of this whole thing with Sakaki's father.
ほら、お弁当作ってきたのよ。食べる？
Oh my god, what do you make? Once I more or less finished my story, JB pushed a prettily wrapped lunchbox in my direction. Sandwiches, eh? Wise choice, Julia. Suppose you've never be able to make these without turning the kitchen into much of a disaster zone. Really girlish packaging is also a little painful to look at, but I decided it's best to keep that particular thought to myself.
あのね、ユージ。あれから私だって多少は料理も上達した。って食べる前に一言ぐらい言ってから食べなさいよ。
Nope. I did say something. Didn't you hear me?
もう。
Why the exasperation? I'll apologize if I did something wrong.
もういいわよ。食べながらでいいから、ちょっと話を聞きなさい。
JB retrieves a small notebook from her black file case, her voice shifting to a businesslike tone. As directed, I listened carefully while chewing away at her egg sandwiches.
先日市ヶ谷の本家で人事異動があったのは知ってるわね。
Nope. Yeah, they sent a message around. Chief of Staff resigned and they appointed a successor, right?
いつもの勢力争いの結果だけどね。ただちょっと困ったことがあって、
Who was appointed?
後任となった門間陸将補は国交省と強いパイプを持っている人間で、主に私鉄関連の財界人と深い交流を持っていたの。
Oh.
陸将補は早速こちらに接触してきたわ。異例なのよね。お偉方が就任早々、私たちみたいな下々のことに気をかけるなんて。何か理由がない限りそんなことはありえない。一体なぜかしらね。
I don't know. To deliver some instructions about the situation with Sakaki's father, I'd imagine. Each speech lacked direct influence over our company, but now they've got a way to pressure us. Maybe even give us marching orders.
正解かどうかは私の立場からは言えないわね。ただ陸将補からは風見雄二には別の兵の中に入ってもらった方がいいのではという話も出ていたわ。
Good luck.
笑いながらだったから冗談のつもりなんだろうけど、内心はどう思っているんだか。
Alright, time to kill this guy. This really is a fantastic job, despite the crappy salary. First, I'm pushed into a mission, then yanked abruptly off it, and at the end I get a nice trip to the doghouse for my trouble. Our employee benefit program is a shining example to the world.
ねえ雄二、ことはもう国レベルの話になってきているの。あなた一人が動いてどうなるような話じゃない。
I mean, come on, we ran away Machina. We could probably do something. What are you telling me to do?
学園から去って榊由美子と関係を断ちなさい。そうしないと今度は命令をもってあなたに相対することになってしまう。
Nope. I see. So keeping me off the operation itself isn't enough for them anymore. Now they want to keep me away from Sakaki herself. This whole thing has been a headache from the start. It's clearly only getting worse. However, there's one element of JB's story that's been bothering me for some time. Sakaki's father interfering with public assets on behalf of his private interests is understandable, if legally dubious. On a more fundamental level, the plot's full of holes. The vague initial orders, the lack of support, the artificial abduction attempts, and the obvious radical change after Sakaki Yumiko hired me. Under a certain hypothesis, these contradictions all begin to make sense. Hey JB, there's one thing I want to ask you.
何よ。
Up until now, I assumed Sakaki's father had learned about a threat to his daughter's safety and was taking a variety of measures to protect her.
ええ、そうよ。それが何か。
But considering all the events up until now, the relationships within the Sakaki family, and this odd pressure from the chief of staff, I started to think that the real threat to Sakaki Yumiko may be her own father. Any thoughts on that hypothesis? Well, had been in the back of my mind all along. Sakaki Michiaki's objective was simply to protect his daughter. Inducing Ichigaya to take me off the job despite my success would make very little sense. But if the man's goals are exactly the opposite, things start to fall into place. I was probably trying to intimidate his daughter at first. I was deployed to serve as some sort of prop in that play. The attackers' constant complaints about what they signed up for might have been referring to a scripted scenario handed down from their employer. In any case, at the present moment, the identity and goal of Sakaki Yumiko's enemy appears very clear. Her father's the only one trying to abduct her. Isn't that right, JB? Face hard and expressionless, JB quietly cast her eyes down. That's more than enough of an answer for me.
私が答えられないと分かっていて聞いているのでしょ。どうせ。
Sorry, Julia.
もう。
JB has her own position to consider. Middle management in my company means dealing with highly confidential matters. Can't even guess how many secrets she's obligated to keep. And JB's a very model of an uber-professional German, with a deeply ingrained reverence for playing by the rules. Nonetheless, I'm constantly using her personal emotions and our shared history with my master to try and pry information out of her. I'm probably going straight to hell based on my treatment of a woman alone. Well, not that I have the slightest qualifications for heaven in any other respect. I'm worried about Sakaki. I think I'll be getting back to the dorm now.
本当にいいの？このままで。
I'm going to be in danger if I continue interfering in the Sakaki family squabble. And from what JB told me about Ichikaya's internal situation, there's a real chance my own people might end up trying to kill me. Sakaki's alone. If I leave, she'll lose what little she has left. Now that I've learned about Sakaki's past, closing my eyes and abandoning her is no longer an option. The girl spent her whole life profoundly isolated, and now, yet again, a group of self-centered adults are trying to tear her life apart. Although she cut herself off from others as a means of self-defense, somewhere deep down, Sakaki's still desperately hoping to be rescued. I don't know if I can save her. But if my interference can create a positive change in her life, I'm going to keep interfering. I owe that much to the woman who pulled me free of the same dark swamps Sakaki's trapped in.
Ne e, Yuji.
Yep, she's an uber professional German. What?
あなた、ひょっとしてユミコのことが好きなの?
Why is it that woman always goes straight for the romantic explanation? No better than those leering gossips in the door.
違うって言い切れる?
At the very least, that's not what this is about. Probably something closer to sympathy.
同情ね.
Comrades, man. Jade responded in an ambiguous tone that suggests she'd only half convinced. Whoa, was that a spoiler? That got deleted before I could read it? Blonde and blue. Yes. She's a natural though. Not like Michiru, who's faking it. How's it going, Creechy?
市ヶ谷を含め監視は厳しくなるわよ。場合によっては国に歯向かうようなことにもなりかねないわ。
Oh yeah, we're gonna fight the country, guys. Suppose so.
もう一度ちゃんと考えて。ユージ、あなた自身のこともね。
It's kind of like, what are you willing to risk for her, right? Her voice seems a little lonely at the end. A bright yellow car, badly out of place on the shabby country roads, roars around the bend and disappears. The edge of the sky reddens little by little. Clouds begin to gather overhead, suggesting an evening shower to come. JB says difficult things sometimes. Turning over her final words in my mind, I slowly begin to walk the road home. The shower turns out to be a full-blown rainstorm, continuing well into the night. Row, fight the power. My room's filled with the rushing sound of the rain outside. Sit in bed and listen, completely unable to sleep. Insomnia is not exactly uncommon for me, but today it's not the usual variety. Just can't get that conversation with JB out of my head long enough to nod off. Sakaki Yumiko, eh? Honestly, I didn't give her that much thought at first. Our first encounter certainly left a strong impression, but since then she's tended to fade into the background as often as not. Right? Like I had to specifically aim for her ending or something. For one thing, I've always tried not to get too deeply involved with my classmates, and she's a deeply private person herself. At some point I recognized we were pretty similar in that regard. Little by little, I developed something of an interest in her. And right now she's weighing on my mind more heavily than anything else. Sitting up in my bed, I push the curtain open and look outside. It's coming down even harder than I expected. Staring at the drops of water bouncing off my window, I feel my thoughts suddenly lurch inward. Something almost like nausea wells up inside me. From the bottom of my throat, the depths of my mind, something ugly pushes its way to the surface. Think about myself. Those were JB's instructions for this afternoon, weren't they? Funny thing to ask of a pet dog. Between rough breaths, a few self-depreciating words spill out of my mouth. I'm a dog, raised and trained on taxpayer money to accomplish certain jobs. They allow me to bear a pretense of humanity. That privilege is conditional on my absolute loyalty and success. Now I'm on the verge of ignoring orders outright, opposing Ichikaya for the sake of one woman. Is it alright to betray your country to help a single person? The master never taught me the answer to that one. Sakaki, what do you want me to do? A girl whose mother disappeared into a deep fog, a young woman betrayed by her father, a human being who's lost sight of herself, consumed by a sense of meaninglessness. Staring at my faint reflection in the window, I asked Sakaki Yumiko a question. I know there's no answer waiting for me. Even Sakaki probably doesn't have one. But at this rate, she won't have the luxury of indecision for much longer. The drumbeat of the rain against my window finally dies down, In silence, the darkness outside seems to grow thicker and more menacing. Resting both hands on the window, I continue to ask night questions without answers. Feels like dawn may never come. And it did! And the next morning, we're blessed with such pleasant weather, it's hard to believe that the storm passed us by only hours before. Oh, okay. Even so, Sakaki gives no sign of leaving her room. It's just about the time when she'd usually be heading out for the riverbank. She doesn't even appear in the lobby. Her shoes sit untouched in the cabinet, slowly gathering dust. In only a few days, that simple daily routine has vanished, leaving nothing but a void behind. And yet again, I have nothing to do but stand around and engaging in silent soliloquies. Michiru and Amane eventually invite me on a shopping trip. Probably found it a little hard to watch me guarding Sakaki's invisible afterimage. It didn't seem like Sakaki was likely to step outside of her own, out of her room today, so I decided to accept.
いや、ごめんね、ユージ。車もバイクも調子悪くてさ。その上いろいろと買うものだけはあって、ちょっと困ってたのよね。
Yo, I know we saw you brooding and we were like, hey, here's a sucker. Picked up a bunch of small miscellaneous items for Amane on the previous school shopping trip. But today it's mainly bulky items like tissue paper and rice. All three of us have our hands pretty full by the end. Definitely would have been difficult with just the two girls. I don't really mind. Also, a sandbar is one thing, but I'm having a really hard time imagining you carrying 10 kilos of rice on that motorcycle.
まあ、そりゃそうよね。
Amane's like, man, you don't want to know. I found a way last time. You can just see her roaring down the street on that ridiculously low-riding chopper she calls Bobotaro, with a big sack of rice strapped to her back like some backwoods grandma. Then again, Amane puttering along happily in a prototypical country mini-truck packed to the gills for provisions would also be pretty comical, but unlike the first case, it's funny because she looks so perfectly appropriate in that picture. Probably better not to mention it.
ああもうこのトイレットペーパーってやつはなんでこう指が痛くなる作りにしてんのよ。お客様サポート機能してんの？
I mean, you know, it's toilet paper, man. Temporarily lowering a package of 12 recycled paper rolls onto the ground, Michiru shakes her hands in pain. Her index and middle fingers are already marked with bright red lines. No way to get around it when you're carrying those things.
ああ、じゃあこれ使う？こないだマキナに届いてた荷物の持ち手なんだけどさ。
おお、引っ越しの時に使う緑のあれじゃん。使う。すごいわね、アマネ。なんでこんなの持ってんのよ。
I'm pretty sure people have equal amounts of hiding spaces, whether they be man or woman.
いや、なんか使うかなって思って持ってたんだけどさ。
あのさ、アマネ、助けてもらって言うのもなんだけどさ、あんた本当におば。
皆まで言わなくてもいいわよ。とっくに自覚してるからさ。
It's like,
どうでもいいものをつい取っておく癖抜けないのよね。
yeah, it's like I'm gonna went through some sort of trauma where resources and materials were incredibly low out of nowhere.
大丈夫よ。男ってそういう母性のある女には弱いって聞くしさ。ほら、ユージからも何か言ってやってよ。ねえ。
What? My listless response is met with two vaguely reproachful glares. That's a reproachful glare by Michiru. That one actually looks like a reproachful glare. What's with the look and the groaning?
またしてもうちら置いてけぼりっすか。
Wow, that's actually very fitting, Michiru.
置いてけぼりっすね。今日これで3回目っすね。
Oh. Do me a favor and cut it out with the synchronized scorn. And what do you mean the third time? They answered my question with a pair of exaggerated American-style shrugs. After another set of deep simultaneous sighs, they began talking to each other instead of me.
聞きましたか、マネさん。この野郎、さっきまでの2回のスルーはカウントすらしてなかったみたいっすよ。
Oh, that's why.
マジ空気っすね。何もないっすね。こっちは気遣って話しかけてんのにマジ空気っすよ。やってられねえっすよ。
Oh man. So it seemed I'd fallen out of the conversation twice before without even realizing it. Putting aside this irritating little routine, I do feel slightly guilty while whiffing on their thoughtful attempts to feed me setup lines. Yeah, I guess I was a little lost in thought. Didn't mean to ignore you guys. Sorry about that. I and Michiru glance at each other and exchange brief, slightly tired little sighs. When Amane turns back to look me in the eye, there's an oddly gentle expression on her face.
Sakaki-san no koto yo ne.
Yeah, that's right. Saw right through me. It's times like these that make you realize women control the world on a pretty fundamental level.
まあ心配よね。解雇されたとは言っても、あの子の周りに何も起こらないって保証があるわけじゃないし。
I mean, you know what's causing the threat, Yuji.
そもそも何が起こってるのかもよく分かってないしね。
I mean, Yuji might know a little bit more now. How has Sakaki been doing lately, from what you've seen? Anything noticeably different? Amane shakes her head slowly.
パッと見は変わんないけど、やっぱ少し落ち込んでるっぽいわね。マキナがいつもの調子で突っ込んでも寂しそうな顔して「そうね」とか言ってるだけだもんね。普段のユミコとは明らかに違うというか。
I don't remember Makina ever. I don't remember Makina poking Sakaki and getting that normal response before. So yeah, I see. Sakaki's trying to at least appear calm around me. But even so, it seems she isn't completely able to hide the turmoil underneath her surface.
まあそのさ、私には難しくてわかんないけど、あんたまでそんなんじゃみんな一緒くたで落ち込んじゃうからさ。
I mean, that's pretty accurate, be true, actually.
とりあえずから元気だけでも出しときなって。
Has Yuji ever acted cheerful?
そうそう、ここでごちゃごちゃ考えててもしゃあないわけやし、家戻ったらごちそう作ってるさかい。それ食べて元気出しやな。
I want an Amane in my life, man. I'd love to have food. First of all, King, that's not only Undertale. Zero Escape did similar things, and other games have too. Second of all, no. I think I like the idea that each route gives a focus to that girl. I think that's a very good thing about this game so far. Or that's what makes this first entry into the Fruit of Grisaia. It makes you appreciate each girl. And then you move on from there. Do whatever the next one gives, right? I'm going to deliver this line with a guffaw and a friendly smack to my ass. Not only am I unable to help Sakaki, I've ended up getting my classmates worried about me. Truly pathetic. What am I supposed to do? Yet again, I find myself mired in a simple question that has no clear answer. What's that? Just as we're getting close to the dorm, I notice something slightly out of place. It's the sound of multiple engines moving away from the entrance.
なんか車の音したよね。学園長は夏休みでいないはずだし、何なんだろう。
Amane is the only one here with a motor vehicle of any kind, so it's pretty rare to hear engines running this close to the school. Principal and JB would be the main suspects. As Michiru pointed out, the former is on vacation. The latter wouldn't just disappear before I came back. Spurred by my sudden sense of unease, I set off toward the dorm at a run.
ユージ？どうしたのよ急に。
The instant I open the dorm's front door, Makina comes running up to me. What happened, Makina?
いきなりユミちゃんがマキナ、落ち着いて何があったか話して。
Serious Amane around.
急だったのよさ。ママ姉たちが買い物に出かけてすぐぐらいに車が急に止まって。ほんでユミちゃんはいるかって聞かれて、私が答えないでいたら無理やりにでも中に入るぞって脅してきて。怪我とかなかったの？あんた大丈夫だったの？怪我とかさせられる前にユミちゃんから出てきちゃったのよ
さ。Sakaki came out? Makina nods repeatedly.
ユミちゃん、これ以上みんなに迷惑かけられないからって荷物を持ってきて、そのまま車に乗っちゃったのよさ。
No!
どこ行
行くかとか言ってなかった？
This time the girl slowly shakes her head from side to side.
一言も言わなかったのよさ。みんな黙ったままですごく怖かったの。そっか、よしよし。
Amina hugs the anxious-looking Machina close and begins to lightly stroke her head.
ユージ、どうしたの？顔怖いよ。
Futura looks up at me, uneasiness in her eyes. You went with them voluntarily? Is this really what we want, Sakaki? An image of Sakaki's desolate expression on the night she dismissed me floats to the surface of my mind. Message. The electronic chime from my cell phone temporarily interrupts my line of thought. Sakaki! When I read those lines, the face that flashed before my eyes don't belong to Sakaki. It's the face of a woman who once spoke the same words to me, over and over again, a woman who never accomplished anything, never broke free. And then a man with an angular face, reaching his hands out for me, swinging his fist mercilessly into my face. The memories seemed to rise up out of the tiny LCD screen and push their way into the present. That idiot! Closing the cell phone, I snap out the words reflexively.
ユージ？どうしたの？何かあったの？
Ignoring their concern, I fire off a question at Machina. Machina, what was the model and color of the cars? And how many were there?
黒のエンチュリーで2台で来てたのよさ。
I see. Nodding, I glance quickly around the room one final time. I'm going.
ユージ！
Time for action!
ちょっとあんたどこ行く気なの？
That's the last thing I want to hear from you, Sakaki. I'm sick of it. I won't hesitate anymore. We both made mistakes, but I'm not about to let us repeat them. I sprint toward the front gate as fast as I can. Shit. A pair of cars carrying Sakaki already left a minute or two ago. The moment I need to get my hands on something I can use to pursue them. But of course, there aren't any cars conveniently lying around with the key in the ignition. Amina's motorcycle and sandbar are out of commission too. What do? Just as I'm running through various possibilities in my head. Here's someone humming a cheerful tune, soon followed by a carefree greeting.
風見さん、お戻りでしたか。
Hey, Sachi! Sachi's returned on a bicycle. Judging from the tranquil smile on her face, seems she's missed the earlier commotion entirely. Sachi, that's... Her bike is a medium-sized modern model, small tires, more than a little out of sync with the maid uniform. Sachi lowers herself to the ground easily with a little whoopsie-daisy, and lowers the kickstand with one smooth movement of her leg. A mini velo, eh?
はい、そうです。さすがは風見さん、よくご存知で。
Steal the bike! Hey, have you watched the first episode of Pokemon? Sachi's like, no? Okay, give me your shit! That's literally how it went. I'm going to save Pikachu! Literally Pokemon episode 1, guys. Or is it 2? I don't remember. An ivory color frame with two cute little wheels on either end. Since the tire diameter is small, it's easy to get it moving quickly. Even know a few guys in my company with a passion for these things.
ここ最近、ウィーグレから毎日のようにメールが届いてまして、それで思い切って買ってしまった次第です。
Tempting use from Google!
あ、ウィーグレというのはイギリスの通販サイトなんですが、風見さんご存知でしたか？
Oh, then no, maybe it's not. That was Google. I've heard people say these things are small but well made. Looks like it's true. The few quick movements, I inspect the handle, seats, and the quality of the tires. Looks like she might have bought a slightly customized model. Frame seems to have been strengthened in places to endure turbulent conditions. This area does have a lot of unsurfaced or poorly maintained roads. Very typical Sachi to account for these things in advance.
直訳すると、Hey サチ、ポンドがボロ安で自転車安いから、フィッシュ&チップス感覚でチャリでも買わないかい？とか、そんな感じなんですが。そうそう、そもそもミニベロのベロというのはフランス語で自転車を意味してるんですが。
Sachi, you think I could ride this without issues?
はい、もちろんです。整備も万全ですよ。試しに軽く乗ってみますか？
Yes! We're gonna be moving rider! Sounds good. I swung myself onto the mini velo and put my feet on the pedals.
わ、早速乗ってくださるんですか？それは何よりです。 今しがた油も差したばかりなので実に素晴らしい走行性能が確保でき
Yo, shout out to Sachi who's just calmly explain this.
で、風見さん
See you later.
ヤッホーミハモライダーかっこいい
Well, I guess that's our moving rider right there.
あれ
She doesn't realize what happened. Its wheels whistling cheerfully, Sachi's mini velo zips jauntily along the road. This thing's fundamentally designed for riding around town. Unfortunately, it's capable of reaching a decent speed as well. The cycle computer installed in the center indicates an average velocity of around 35 km per hour. Can't compete with a motorcycle or anything, but it's still excellent performance for its size. This really is going to be tough. That said, I'm up against motor vehicles, and they have a head start. There's a decent amount of traffic since it's summer vacation and all, but they can still leave me in the dust easily enough. I'm not going to get anywhere at this rate. Fortunately, they're traveling on a winding, narrow, provincial road of the sort you'll often find on this type of small peninsula. Country roads present their own opportunities for the experienced rider. A little skill and luck might be possible to catch them even riding a mini velo with a maximum speed of 50 km per hour. Assuming that the cars are headed for the metropolitan area, the entrance to the toll road 15 kilometers ahead will probably be my last chance to catch them. Any further than that, and a bicycle just won't be enough. Alright. Feel bad for Sachi, but I'm going to have to treat this thing a little roughly. Leaning heavily to the right, I turn the bicycle onto a farm road that leads to a nearby mountain. The tires crunch through rough pebbles, my whole body's jolted by small impacts running up through the frame. Soon I'm surrounded by forest. The trail ahead of it is one of the more blatant examples of a bad road you're ever like to see. Still, I push forward without hesitating. Within seconds, leaves and branches are slapping heavily against my face and arms from all sides. I've been prepared for a badly maintained road from the start, but this almost exceeds my expectations. Truly terrible conditions. Maximum anime power! Catch cars with bicycles! Hell yeah. This region was once used as an army maneuvering ground. Wouldn't surprise me if this thing dates back to those days. The designers clearly weren't interested in ensuring a pleasant or easy ride. It's impossible to avoid catching the tires on the natural holes and rocks that litter the path. Struggling along as best I can, using the handles on my own weight to avoid the worst obstacles. Still, no matter how skillfully I ride, my speed keeps falling, and feelings of impatience are giving way to outright frustration. God damn it! Even so, this is a definite shortcut. Cutting straight through will get me to my objective much more quickly than following that meandering road around and around. Lowering my head, I pump the pedals as fast as possible, warding off branches with one hand when necessary. The slope of the road begins to grow slightly easier. Eventually, the overhanging trees begin to thin out as well. And suddenly, my field of vision expands dramatically. It seems I reach the summit of this foothill. The trail is increasingly level underneath me, and it's less of a challenge to move the pedals. Best of all, the practically non-existent road finally changes to something more worthy of the name. Alright, there you are. Catch a glimpse of the two black sedans on the peripheral road stretching out below. Cars like that aren't common around here. They're exactly as Makina described them. Sekai has to be in one or the other. Oh, look at that, Yuji. Now it's just a question of catching up, I guess. That winding road they're following only continues for another 7 kilometers or so. Got to somehow get ahead of them and set up an ambush before they get off. Doesn't help that I don't know exactly where they're going. The city's my best guess, and since they're on this road, I can speculate they're trying to take the highway. I have no proof. If they take a different route, I'm SOL either way. At this point, I realize that the cell phone in my breast pocket is vibrating. Amane? 8 missed calls. They must have been startled by that sudden exit. I could always just fill her in later, but I feel bad to make them worry too much, so I decide to answer the call. That you, Amane? I think you're aware, but I'm sort of in the middle of something. Let's talk later. Sorry about that. I'll get in touch once things have calmed down a little. What? Look, I'm trying to follow the cars in question. Don't really have time to. Oh snap. Screenshot that? Yeah, do it, man. I see that. That's what this is about. Sorry. That would be a help. Is Kaki get in touch or something? Not perfectly, but we should be able to hold a conversation. What's this information? I'm following the Mishima Cave coastline. Cars are heading north on the prefectural road. I'm taking a shitty mountain road running almost parallel. Bit of a shortcut.
想通りかもね。車がどこに向かってるか、ユージはもう掴んでる？
No, I guess they were heading to Tokyo since Sakaki's father is involved. Am I wrong?
やっぱり榊さんの実家が関係してたのね。だったら当たりかも。
Oh, snap.
あのね、半島の根元のとこ、ちょうど今走ってる先の方に榊さんとこの会社所有のヘリポートがあるんだけど、ユージも聞いたことなかったっけ？
Come to think of it, I think Sakaki has mentioned this before. Apparently it was built more or less for the exclusive use of the company's top brass and their families. Stuck in my mind as a particularly impressive example of late capitalist success. Yeah, now that you mention it, I heard they weren't using it anymore.
それがね、マキナがさっき調べてくれたんだけど、今日朝からそこで見慣れないヘリが1機ずっと待機してるらしくて。
Hell yeah, Makina's perfect memory. Seriously?
撮影マニアの集まる掲示板に書いてあったらしいんだけど、いつもはいないはずの背広姿の人たちも周囲をうろうろしてるとかで、妙にピリピリした空気が漂ってるみたい。
I see, makes sense. Can't do a thing, they ship her out of here in the air. That heliport isn't far from the interchange leading to the highway, maybe 700 or 800 meters. It's entirely plausible given their current position, and it's hard to think the unusual situation there is a coincidence.
ねえ、これ怪しいと思わない？
Forget fishy, it's probably where they're taking her. Alright, going to end the call, thanks. It's helpful to know their destination. That doesn't make this chase any easier. Once she gets on that helicopter, it's game over. I absolutely have to catch up before then somehow. But seriously, this road is the worst. Branches slap against my face, spines catch in my hair, and the rocks randomly lying across the ground constantly slowing the rotation of my tires. Cars, visible only for brief moments in between gaps in the trees, seem to slowly be pulling further away. My odds of catching up are getting longer. Going to need some luck at this point. The mountain road I chose as a shortcut was ideal in terms of distance. At full speed, I might have gotten ahead of them by now. But riding on hilly terrain while pushing my way through thick underground growth cost me even more time than I expected. I have to take advantage of the time lost when they disembark. It's not like they can just drive the whole car onto the helicopter. At the very least, it'll take them a minute or two to get everyone out of the car and onto the chopper. Into the chopper! Now that they've pulled ahead, I only hope this gives me the chance I need to close the gap. Practically tumbling down the descending path branching off the mountain trail, finally rejoined the prefectural road. The heliport in question is only 400 or 500 meters ahead. Cars are no longer visible. Can I make it? Ignoring the traffic light ahead, I let my motor carry me across the intersection, weaving between the cross traffic. My ears ring from a dozen honking horns as I rush directly toward the heliport. A small facility on a sprawling plot of land surrounded by fences come into view. This has got to be it, if I remember the map correctly. A powerful squeal from the brakes, I forced the bike from its maximum speed to a halt. Damn, too late. Just as I'm rolling up to the fence, the sound of a helicopter rotor fills the air. There are ways to get a chopper back on the ground, few that involve it staying in one piece, and none that are available to me now. Following a car is one thing, but chasing a helicopter on a mini-velo would just be absurd. I mean, forget a mini-velo, no matter what kind of vehicle you have, keeping up with that thing from the ground is going to be very close to impossible. So much for that plan. Watch as the helicopter slowly rises into the sky and turns its nose to the west. For some reason, the direction of its flight strikes me as a little strange. Wait, they're not going to the city? The helicopter is heading almost directly away from Tokyo. It maintains a course to the west, flying parallel to the Shonan coastline. If I remember correctly, to the west of here, there's... What is there? As I'm thinking about the helicopter's possible destination... A complete out-of-place Kansai drawl rings out in the dry summer air. What, you talking to me? Skyman. Compared to Amina's relatively soft Kyoto dialect, it's got a seriously strong accent, probably from the Kawachi area? I see, in other words, my presence in the middle of the road is obstructing your passage. It's got a dome of hair bleached such a blinding blonde that even Michiru would bow down. And sharp bead nose that actually works for him somehow. Expensive clothes too, about the last guy you'd expect to have such a thick drawl. Character redesign might be in order, That blonde hair isn't the only thing that clashes with the Kansai accent. Once I get a look at the car he's driving, my eyes stop moving entirely. A Gallardi Spider! What's a car like this doing here? Of all the out-of-place things in front of me, this is without a doubt the most bizarrely misplaced of all. It's the Lamborghini company's signature model. Extreme luxury sports car on the class of a Ferrari. Ferrari. Not to give us a Ferrari. The sticker price that could buy you a nice chunk of real estate.
わかったるやんけ。しかもこれは特注品やねん。うちの親父な、東河内の商工会議所におんねんけど、そこがなんや知らんけど、イタリーと提携しとってんな。言うたらあかんけど、時速300キロ出せんねんでこれ。
You don't say.
ビビるやろ。ランボリギーニ乗ってるやつはおっても、こんなんに乗ってるのはわしぐらいやで。
I know, right?
ちょっと兄ちゃん、ベタベタ触らんとってんか。
Yeah, this thing's about as fast as they come. Seriously hard to believe I'm seeing a car like this in Japan.
まあせやな。俺もこう、もうちょいそれ相応の場所に行ったらバーッとスピード出すねんけどな。日本やと捕まってしまうさかいにな。
Anyway, you seriously got a nice ride here.
なあ、もう分かったやろ。わしパティ行かなあかんねん。はよどいてくれんと時間に間に合わん。
Leaning in close to the man's peaked nose, I speak in a very deliberate tone of voice. A very nice ride.
Huh?
Yes! Look at this! Oh my god, it gets better and better. In inverse proportion to the man's fading shriek, the needle in the speedometer soars steadily upward. Amazing! It's my first time actually riding one of these things. The acceleration is powerful enough to make my whole body tremble. This thing was a carefree joyride. I'd be perfectly content to tear around all day in this thing. This is a truly magnificent car. It's impossible to hold a conversation unless we quite literally scream at each other. From what my new friend tells me, the car itself hasn't been remodeled in any way, but still roars as loudly as any hot rod I've ever seen. Absolutely not the sort of car you should be shipping to Japan of all places. No, we're chasing a helicopter, man. Yeah, look at Yuji's face. Puttering around town doing the speed limit on a monster like this would just be disrespectful, don't you think? As the man's pressed back into his seat by the G-force, his attempt at speech slurs incoherently into a high-pitched little shriek. In the sky ahead, the helicopter continues its calm journey west along the coast. Maybe the wind's a little rough today, or a reason it's flying at a pretty relaxed pace. Hasn't been getting too far ahead of us. Of course, that'd still be completely impossible without this absolute beast of a car, but... God, Shonen protagonist face right now, yeah. Yo, is this the turkey? I see. Wouldn't do to show up late to a party, I suppose. Sure, there's a small corporate airport not far from here. Owned and operated by East Beach Transport, a company under the East Beach Railways Group umbrella. It's mainly used for in-company freight planes carrying parts and equipment from overseas. But every once in a great while, a private jet does fly out there. And the helicopter carrying Sakaki is headed straight for it. You understand where I'm going with this. Once that airplane takes off, it's going to become very close to impossible for me to help Sakaki. I'd probably ship her off to some foreign school if I was in his shoes. There's always a risk of information leaking if you hide her in Japan. That risk gets a lot smaller overseas. Right, sorry. We should be there in less than 20 minutes at this pace. Just tough it out for a while. The helicopter seems to have increased its speed ever so slightly. It's very gradual, but I think they're starting to increase the distance between us. I'm going to pick up the pace a little. Don't talk, you'll bite your tongue. The instant we turn onto a straight stretch of road, press the gas pedal to the floor. Get that turkey to that party, man. Jeez. Jeez.
はい。はい。ありがとうございます。先生のご紹介でしたら、私としても安心でして。
Look at this smug face.
はい。娘も本格的に英語を学びたいと 前々から言っておりましたので。
Anyway, right before we get into the meat of this, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break, guys, because I have to pee. So I'll be right back, and then once we are, you know what's gonna happen. Alright, guys. Today's episode has been brought to you by anime. As in, a lot of anime protagonistness that Kaza Yuji's doing. Also, refilling my Coke Zero. Take a quick break, as if nothing... As if... Oh, no, I expect a lot to happen very shortly.
もちろんです。門間さんの件も含めまして、近々そちらにもお伺いしようかと思っておりまして。はい。そちら方面についてもどうぞご期待くださいませ。
Yo, Michiaki doesn't even know that Yuji somehow accosted a vehicle that is so powerful.
はい。ではこれにて失礼いたします。入りなさい。失礼します。
Hi, Chief Secretary.
状況はどうだ？
今、ヘリで空港へ向かっております。順調に行けば、明日早朝にもアメリカへ到着する予定です。
Oh man, America, yo, we're gonna have Sakaki on our shores? No, not gonna happen. Yuji's on the case.
順調に行けばでは困る。万全を期したまえ。
はい。失礼いたしました。
例の軍人崩れのガキはどうした？
由美子様をお連れする時も姿は一切見えませんでした。おそらくは陸将補の命令で遠ざけられたのではないかと。
Oh, what a capable man. We're gonna give him a raise. And then you're gonna hear about the fact that Kazawa Yuji got to the airport in time.
そうか。油断はしないようにな。
At least Michiaki has the foresight to be like, you know, if anyone's gonna ruin this, it's that ex-military boy.
はい。わかりました。
はい、わかりました。
失礼いたします。
失礼いたします。
海外にでも運んでしまえば、そうそう変な虫もつかんだろうさ。榊家のためにも、おとなしくしていてもらうぞ、由美子。
The scenery flies past at astonishing speed. There's a bit more traffic now, but the oncoming cars flinch and turn the instant they see us approaching. Pull over to the shoulder one by one as we roar forward down the road. Still, can't catch them. Most of my concentration is focused on manipulating the steering wheel. Every few seconds I glance over at the helicopter in the corner of my eye. Hasn't really picked up speed, but the terms of this race simply weren't fair to begin with. They're flying a direct course through the sky with no obstacles or signs to worry about. Completely different from chugging along on a public road no matter how nice your car might be. My friend's voice has by now lost almost all of its initial vigor, but he keeps a constant stream of questions about the time. Seems he's really worried about that party of his. Okay, one more turn. It's a straight shot after this. The car drifts into the intersection, tires squealing as the rears swing out to the side. A small sign for the airport flashes past in a fraction of a second before we speed off again. Another 3 kilometers to go. Got to beat them there and find a way to intercept their cargo. For now, I simply tear down the road, running parallel to the coast at full speed. The entrance to the airport comes into view, then a small control tower and a number of nondescript cargo aircraft. Among them, there's a single plane that's conspicuously different from the others. It's a smaller craft with stripes in the East Beach Express red and blue on its flank. Has to be the passenger jet belonging to the company. Yeah, it's a Lambo. Just at its side, the helicopter we've been chasing all this time has already landed. Shit, too late again? As the crow flies, it's only 300 meters away. Close enough that I can actually see the small group of people boarding the jet. I grope desperately for some sort of solution, but even if I ran my way into the airport, there's not much I can do now that they're fully embarked. Frustrating as it is to admit, I'm out of ideas. The jet begins to taxi for takeoff practically the instant the doors shut behind the last passenger. So much for my wishful thinking about a multi-hour delay. Sorry, but I don't have the time to chat about your bird right now. Bird? The instant the words leave my mouth, something occurs to me. Hey. I've got a question. That turkey of yours, it frozen? Hooray! Really? This is all this time you're talking about frozen turkeys because of this moment, Shane? I see, a wise choice. Hopping out of the driver's seat, I walk over to the passenger side of the car, lightly grab hold of the man's shoulder. You're on the wheel, alright? Just do exactly what I tell you. This time I lean down and bellow into his ear. Hurry up!
お父様よりお聞きかとは思いますが、このまま冬季はアメリカに向かいます。
アメリカ？
はい。お聞きではありませんでしたか？
なるほど。厄介払いにはちょうど良さそうな場所ね。
Hey, what are you talking about?
後ほど資料をご用意いたします。お疲れでしょうし、お休みになられた後にでもお目を通していただければ。
Surprisingly appropriate considering Thanksgiving this Thursday.
わかりました。
The car smashes through the thin fence separating the airport from the public road with a satisfying crunch. Aiming for the runway where the jet's already in position for takeoff, we charge forward at maximum speed. Alright, line her up right beside that jet. After that, just hold steady and keep the accelerator to the floor. While shouting instructions to my good friend. Oh yeah! Yo! Blonde boy now! Good friend! Good friend! Good friend! While shouting instructions to my good friend, I retrieve a large flashy box from the back seat. Passenger jet takes off at around 285 kilometers per hour. We should just be able to catch up to this thing. He's probably gonna toss it. He's probably gonna toss it into the engine or something, yeah. You can make it if you keep that pedal all the way down. I'm counting on you. Take out the enormous lump of bird flesh from its bed of cold gel packs. Hold it high into the air like a championship trophy. Ugh, the wind pressure. Traveling at a speed sufficient to lift an airplane into the sky. The moment I stand up from behind the windshield, the air rushes past shakes to my body violently. Somehow holding myself steady, I dig my fingers into the turkey and move my hands slightly forward. It's an absurd plan. I don't have a chance to rehearse. I can only hope I get the timing and angle of release correct. Still, I've got no choice but to try. Hey, can't you get this thing going any faster? Oh, your bird's gone. Your bird's gonna go flying, man! Won't be possible to catch up if the plane hits V1 speed. Got to make it before then. Alright, good. Keep going like this. The car slips out from under the engine and begins to push slightly ahead. Carefully watching the distance, I wait for the right moment. Another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now! Throwing both arms with all my might. Fling the cold lump into the air and let the wind carry it back. Turkey soars majestically into the sky, then instantly captured by the powerful suction of the intake, curves toward the engine. Oh my god. Alright guys, do you guys know how what happens when you put a frozen turkey into the yo. So I hope you guys have you guys ever seen people try to deep fry their frozen turkeys? That's literally what happened to that engine.
バードストライクです。エンジンに鳥を巻き込んだようです。なんだと？飛べないのか？無理です。急停止します。原因を調べろ。代わりに飛べる機の手配を急げ。はい。
How would they be on the Hudson River in Japan?
何か外で異変が起こったかもしれん。停止したらすぐに調べるんだ。わかりました。よし、行け。はい。どうした？
何かあったの？
大丈夫です。様子を見てまいりますので、こちらにてお待ちください。
You know what happened? It's called Kazumi usually happened.
おい、今行くぞ。何があった？
何なの？一体何が
？She's sitting at the very back of the 20-seat cabin, crouching as if to hide herself. Her frightened expression changes to one of stunned astonishment the moment our eyes meet. Yo, I threw a frozen turkey into the engine. How'd I do? Yo. Yo, what up? Really? What? Oh, man. I speak in the same casual tone I always use to greet her in the classroom.
あなたにこれ以上迷惑をかけたくないから。だから。
Before Sakaki can continue, I snap open my cell phone, show her the screen.
これって私の送った。
Yeah. She probably intended it to be her goodbye. But instead, those words brought me here. Again with the I'm sorry, huh? There she is. Freaking frozen turkeys! Told you not to say that anymore, didn't I? Sakaki's bewildered expression crumbles. All of a sudden, she's on the verge of breaking down.
だって私、あなたに本当に迷惑ばかりかけて。だから。謝らなきゃって思って。あなただけじゃない。寮の他の子にも、今まで私に関わってきて親切にしてくれた人にも、みんな。
Dude, like true anime fanshin, you text somebody I'm sorry like that, and then about to take a flight to America, you know for a fact someone's gonna take a frozen turkey, throw it into the jet intake, blow up the engine, and come save you. Wait, that's just Kazama Yuji. One frozen turkey boy, clearly. Little by little, her eyes fill with tears. Her voice quavers as she wipes them away with her hands. In that case, keep going until you can repay them properly. Nobody wants your apologies, alright? Try gratitude instead. That's right. The nod to Sakaki, I slowly move my hand off the seat and extend it forward. Once when I was at an absolute rock bottom, my master reached out a hand to me. And now, in imitating her as best I can, I reach out to Sakaki. Sakaki observes my outstretched hand uncertainly. Don't worry, girl. I have Pokemon Go on this. The eyes still full of hesitation, she looks up at me. You're right here, Sakaki Yumiko. I can see you just fine. Come with me. For years, she's refused to acknowledge the girl in the mirror as anything but a character in the play. Shrinking back from the world, she lost her place in it. She lost her place in it entirely. And so I begin with the simple affirmation of her existence. I'll get you out of here. I'll hold you until you can walk. I'll speak until you find your voice. Don't dance on anyone's strings. You can live your life however you want. I came here to show you how. Not quite. I want us to search for an answer. Yeah, that's a lot harder than running. Sakaki Yumiko is a daughter of the Sakaki family. She's also first and foremost a human being. In the course of a life filled with painful events completely beyond her control, she very nearly lost sight of that, but it's an absolute fact. Right now, this girl's lost the ability to live on her own terms. So until she can find her answer, I'll just have to keep her safe. Now that I made that decision, I'm not going to back down, no matter what comes next, even if my own country comes after me. Let's go, Yumiko. Sakagi reacts strongly to that word. I haven't used her name since the day we reached our first wary truce. Today I'm breaking that seal. It's the clearest way I have to demonstrate how I see her now. Come on, Yumiko. Come on, Yumiko. Bring my hand still closer. Like, It's the same hand that held a frozen turkey. I think she understands. I'm not talking to the daughter of a railroad tycoon or an antisocial problem child. Talking to a fellow human being. Because she understands, her face grows all the more uncertain. Part of her is questioning whether she deserves this. This is the Thanksgiving edition of Grisaia? You better believe it. That's why Yuji is trying to teach Yumiko on saying thank you. Yumiko. Instead of saying it's alright, I'll call out her name and push my hand forward. Sakagi's breath catches in her throat. She moves her mouth slightly without producing a sound, as if to practice, and then somewhat hesitantly. She speaks. Yes. That's awkward. Yumiko nods and takes my hand. At first, it's a gentle, hesitant touch, but soon her grip grows firm. Clasp her hand tightly in return and draw her up out of the seat. There'll be others coming soon. We need to hurry. Taking her right hand, I exit the plane by the escape chute. Quick glance around suggests no one's pursuing us yet. Still, I leave at a run, pulling Yumiko along behind me. It's the first time I've ever really held the girl's hand. It feels slender in mine, surprisingly small. From now on, I'll have to lead Yumiko safely forward, shielding her from danger. It's a serious responsibility. I knew that from the start. Right now it feels terribly real. Having someone to protect really weighs you down, Asuko. Was it like this for my master when she pulled me along all those years ago? Right now, Yumiko's small hand feels unbelievably heavy. Whoops. Can a piece of trash like me really carry this kind of weight? I feel doubt oozing out of me like sweat. That's no good. So it'll only make Yumiko feel uneasy if I start brooding. Shaking my head a little, I resettle my hand around hers. Tight grip, so that it can't slip away. Beyond the quickly parting clouds, I can see the sky gradually turning to red. Night will be here before long. A field of white stretches out endlessly before me. Such a pure and brilliant light that it seems like my fingers will melt away if I reach out to touch it. But that's not really an option in the first place. My body feels like it's buried under layers of mud, and the slightest movement is frustratingly difficult. It takes all my effort just to lift my hand a fraction of an inch. Who's there? I can hear a voice at my ear. No, maybe it's coming from inside my ear itself. Can't even tell. It's a woman's voice, not particularly gentle, but very familiar. She's speaking a name, telling me something I want to know, but the words fade in and out of audibility, slippery and evasive. My hand finally moves, to grope around above my chest, trying to grab hold of the voice. Speak, more clearly. I want to hear what that voice is trying to tell me. I want to know where this strange nostalgia is coming from. Soon enough, I find my hand mired in the mud once more. Maybe it's wrong of me to try in the first place. Maybe I don't deserve to hear those words.
Oi, Nii-chan!
Huh? A shout from overhead breaks forcefully into the dream. The field of white in front of me gradually takes on shades of blue. Trying to move my hand to shield my eyes from the dazzling spot of light, there's something soft on top of my body that gets in the way. What is this? As I pull the lump of cloth off me and examine it through my bleary eyes, the man standing over me takes a cigarette from his mouth and answers in a slightly exasperated tone of voice.
毛布だよ、毛布。兄ちゃん、このクソ寒いのに半袖で寝てただろ。それで、半端のおばちゃんが持ってきてくれたんだよ。
It's not that it's not that she wants to live a normal life. She doesn't want to be a caged bird where anyone and everyone precious to her just falls apart and disappears or worse. I see. It is a bit chilly, I guess. The sun's certainly bright enough, but the air is far from warm. My sleep-fogged mind takes a few seconds to recall the date and my current situation. It's November. I lost my previous occupation several months ago, lying on the ground outside my new workplace, apparently at the end of a brief nap. Oh, we've been gone for months now? Right, my apologies. The worker stubs out his cigarette in an ashtray nearby and smiles wryly down at me. That a fact. Not really doing it on purpose. No, nothing like that. The person who raised me was a little unique. Thumping a hand onto my shoulder, the man shakes me back and forth in what presumably intended to be a friendly gesture. Right, my apologies. Yep. Grab the helmet lying at my side and head for the site at a jog. Sun already falling lower in the sky gently warms my back. Oh my god! Wait, it said 2017? Wait, it just said 2017, right? Doesn't this game take... how long has it been? Wait, what? No, I think we skipped years, right? Here, go, give me a second. Yeah, it's been 5 years. Oh, wait, no, that's just me. All right, give me a second. We're gonna find out exactly when we are. All right, so last where we left off, right? We're at some August. So we're 2012. Okay. And then now. We're in 2017. Oh, this is no. Okay. I'm just going crazy. I just read it wrong. Okay, November 17, 2011. Okay. Just been 3 months. Oh. Woo. Anyway. Okay. Yo, how's it going, Casserola? Television dramas and such, fugitives on the run from something or other, often head straight for the sleepiest stretch of countryside they can find. The basic idea is that less people means less opportunities for someone to see you, but 9 times out of 10, that's a downright terrible strategy. An outsider suddenly showing up in a tiny close-knit community stands out like the proverbial sore thumb. As anyone who's read a decently plotted mystery novel can tell you, hide a leaf among leaves and a corpse among corpses. And when you're looking for a place with a high population that offers convenient opportunities for under-the-table employment, the metropolitan area is the obvious choice. When you're hiding a person, do it among people. That's a lesson I learned not from my master, but through painful personal experience. The day's work finished up right on schedule. Walked the road home at a steady pace. Bag of deep-fried food from one of my new coworkers dangling from my hand. This town, about an hour by train from the heart of Tokyo, used to be one of the old-school red light districts back in the day. Even now it's been cleaned up. Even now that it's been cleaned up, the atmosphere is still a little on the seedy side. Anybody would get lost on their first trip through this warren of narrow streets and tangled alleyways. Not the most convenient town to lead a normal life in, but right now, it's exactly what we need. No, he's an hour away from Tokyo, so he's not in Mihama. Nothing seems off today either. With small movements of my eyes, I observe the appearances and behaviors of the people around me. Apart from checking for possible surveillance personnel, I'm looking for changes in the neighborhood shops and restaurants. Anything even slightly different from yesterday warrants careful scrutiny. Although it's pure habit by now, this still involves a good deal of mental focus and emotional strain. Honestly, pretty rough when I'm coming home physically exhausted from a long day of manual labor. Still, letting down my guard isn't an option. We're tucked away pretty discreetly here, but there are definitely people looking for us. A single coincidence could completely overturn the status quo. I think they just literally ran away, yeah. Quietly repeating that fact to myself, I take yet another look around. I overlap my memorized image from yesterday with the streets before my eyes and compare the two carefully. About 15 minutes walking distance from the station, slip through a pair of alleyways to enter a small apartment building. There are more straightforward routes home, but I've been deliberately taking a tangled path to make life a little harder for anyone who tries to follow. After a slow, watchful climb up the stairs, I unlock the door marked 203 and enter the room. Back, all quiet today as well? I open the door, I'm immediately greeted by a relieved face. Wait, is Yumiko still looking at porn? Gosh. Confirming that Yumiko's present and well, I finally allow myself to relax a little. Alright, good to hear. Taking off my shoes, I hand over the sack with the fried food. Got another present from Sawai-san. Can you get out the plates?
いつもの人ね。こっちは何も返せないのに、なんだか悪いわ。
Well, as far as they know, I'm living alone. They don't eat that much at lunch. Guess they're a little worried about my diet.
親切な人が多いのね。あなたの職場には。
I mean, you know, she looks so happy. Yeah, she looks so happy. Yeah, they're a little on the rough side, but yeah, you aren't wrong. For leaving my bag on the floor, I head for the kitchen area. I'll warm it up and throw something together.
ええ、わかったわ。
Can Yumiko even cook? Cold water falling onto my hands feels like a sign of changing seasons. Autumn may linger a while longer by the calendar, but soon it'll be winter in all but name. That Yamane? Yeah, I got Sakaki out of there. Sorry about the hassle. Okay, we're flashing back to when they were actually escaped. I'll be getting in touch again at some point, but I had Sakaki throw her cell away. Keep in mind, we won't be able to answer calls from your end for the moment. Also, tell Sachi I'm sorry about the bike. I'll compensate her as soon as I get the chance. Alright, hang up now.
Suo-san?
Yeah, the others made some real contributions to the rescue operation. This isn't the time to be feeling guilty. For the moment, let's just focus on getting ourselves somewhere where they can't track us down. I've made some preparations for a rainy day scenario. We'll stop by there first. Still pulling Yumiko along, I looked over to meet her eyes. Don't worry, it's going to be alright. Trust me. She answered while squeezing my hand powerfully in hers. Yeah. But he threw a turkey into the engine, sir! What are we supposed to do? Catch her, you fool! He literally threw a turkey in the engine, my man. He looks kinda angry, guys.
どうして警察に通報なさらないのでしょうか。これは誘拐事件です。社長なら言うまでもなく警察関係者とのパイプもございます。早期解決を目指すとのことでしたら、私どもの組織や独自ルートに頼らずともその方が。
無理だと知っていて言っているのか。
いえ、私には分かりかねます。
今は会社にとっても私にとっても大切な時期だ。警察沙汰になれば必ずどこかから話は漏れる。
Oh, okay. So unlike where Makina, where the Irisu family could just be like, yo, let's mobilize everything at our disposal, police and everyone included. Here they are. And by the way, why are you like King? They're not really that underage. Sakaki and Yuji are of the legal age of whatever that is in your country. What?
メディアは報道管制で抑えられても妙な噂は立つだろう。そんなことになっては困るのだよ。ともかく警察沙汰にだけはできないんだ。 そんなことを言う暇があったら少しでも早く解決する方法を考えたまえ。
So, calling for a police investigation too much. Asking to kill Yuji, that's okay. What?
しかし
そもそもこれはあなたの部下がやらかした事件だろう。内部で処理するのが筋だろうが。
It's easy for you to say, bro.
わかりました。最善を尽くします。
Easy for you to say, bro.
努力はせんでいい。必要なのは結果だけだ。
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You couldn't even kidnap your own daughter. You think you have any say in this matter? Piece of shit.
はい。
This guy couldn't even guys, let's put it this way. One of the most politically connected individuals in this story couldn't even kidnap his own daughter properly. Come on. A very modest dinner for the day consisted of the deep fried food I brought home from work, sides of boiled spinach and miso soup. We do have some savings for my rainy day fund, but we can't dip into it carelessly, since our uncertain future ahead of us. Our diet's gone pretty plain as a result. I think Yumiko's ever breathed a word of complaint. Then again, she was always scarfing down junk food from when we were in the dorm. So I guess I guess she's not the pickiest of eaters. Just sitting there just like, yo, mean Doritos guys.
これがイカフライね。初めて食べるわ。
Well, you never had fried squid, man? Girl! Pretty good. You can tell. I do seem to remember Makina telling me something about Yumiko's calamari history, or lack thereof. I have to say, this is the first time I've seen someone examine a piece of fried squid quite this intently.
食べたことがないって言ったら寮でバカにされたのよ。
Well, congratulations on losing your fried squid virginity.
イリスさんみたいなことを言わないでちょうだい。
After those words leave Yumiko's mouth, a slightly lonely expression flits across her face.
またあの制服を着るときは来るのかしら。
I mean, technically we should just graduate. It's our arrival here. Those flashy school uniforms have naturally remained shut up inside our dressers. Unless we manage to get back to Mihama Academy someday, suppose that's where they're going to stay. Do you want to?
そうね。似合ってるって言ってもらえた服だし。
Oh, who was that? If I hadn't rescued Yumiko, she would have been shipped off to some school overseas. Her whole life would have disappeared whether I took action or not. There's nothing to regret.
どうしたの、風見くん。
It's nothing. Although I made some preparations for an emergency beforehand, this escape plan was still extremely reckless and dangerous. I acted boldly, assuming that the Sakaki family's circumstances prevent them from turning this into a manhunt. Still, depending on their approach to the situation, might have ended up being caught within hours. I couldn't bring myself to just desert Yumiko, whatever the risks. So yeah, this is a very different role when Makina was involved. It's true. And Yuji actually figured that out. Alright, good night, Shade. Probably gonna go for a little bit longer. Couldn't just let her disappear and leave me with nothing but words of apology. Wanted to do something for her. Then again, that probably wasn't the only reason. Excuse me. Wanted to protect Yumiko. That's the single largest motive. But there was something else to it as well. Something more selfish. The woman I get close to always seems to disappear. At some point I'd grown afraid of that chain of loss. Convinced myself it was a curse. A punishment of some sort. The more I started to care about Yumiko, the more I wondered if she'd follow the same pattern. And then they tried to take her away from me.
風見くん。
I'm just gonna stare at your face for a lot longer, girl. How's it going? Welcome to the staring at Yumiko ASMR. Okay, anyway. Yumiko tries to speak, her voice soft, but hesitates. Reading the atmosphere, I answer before she can continue. Were you about to apologize again, Yumiko? I'll say I hit the bullseye. She lowers her eyes from mine awkwardly. Thought I told you to cut it out with that.
でも、私のせいで風見くんに迷惑をかけたし、今もこうして気を使わせてる。
Dude, that's not a bother. Yumiko, I interrupted her halfway through a sentence with a slightly forcible tone. I decided to protect you, and you decided to come with me. There's nothing to be ashamed of and nothing to apologize for.
Kazami-kun.
Look, Yumiko, you're finally your own person now, so for the moment, why not think about yourself? I imagine you've got a pretty decent backlog to work through on that front. Yeah, that's true.
So yone.
Yumiko nods firmly. Probably came off as pretty pompous there, but those words were directed at myself as much as her. It's driving me forward right now. It's absolutely true I want to protect Yumiko and do what's best for her. Underneath those clear feelings, there's a number of hazier emotions I don't quite understand myself. When I took her out of that plane, I told her we'd search for an answer. I thought it was the word Yumiko needed to hear most after all those years lost in the fog. But I'm starting to think that applied just as much to me. Here, Yumiko, eat that one too. Can't allow my uncertainty to make Yumiko uneasy as well. For the moment, I'm going to try and keep the pensive reveries to a minimum. Yay! Yo! 11/18, that's yesterday! Except 2011. The forecast called for rain, but instead we're greeted with a clear and beautiful morning. Not that the weather outside has too much effect on our current lifestyle, especially in Yumiko's case. Boom. That's a nice calendar you got there, bro. Anyway, are these all the ones you finished already? I just had a sizable pile of hardcover books sitting at Yumiko's bedside.
もう読んでしまった後だから、風見くんが読まないのだったら返却しても構わないわ。
Yeah, alright.
何か気になることでもあったかしら?
No, I was just trying to remember when they're due back to the library.
そう?
Yumiko's currently a fugitive of sorts. Naturally, that restricts her freedom of movement. She leaves the apartment mostly at night, when few pedestrians are around, only when I've given her the all-clear. The vast majority of her time is spent indoors. But of course, she'd go crazy just sitting around in here all day long, so I take periodic trips to the library to borrow her large quantities of books. Were these any good?
風見くんのチョイスがいいのかしらね。興味深く読んでいるものばかりだし、退屈に感じることはないわ。
Hello, Motherland. Well, I do love both vodka and Russian hats, so welcome. Doesn't sound like Yumiko's saying that just for my sake. Probably her honest thoughts. That said, spending all this time alone must be a little rough emotionally. Yumiko was on her own more often than not, even when we were in the dorm. She had a cell phone, easy access to the internet, and above all else, boisterous friends who kept things lively. By comparison, she's only got one antisocial man for company in this cramped apartment, and he's not even around for most of the day. There aren't many chances for us to do much of anything together. Got to start thinking about the next move pretty soon. Can't keep up this lifestyle forever. Decisive solution is going to be necessary. Not that I really know what that would look like yet. I suppose there's no choice but to cautiously observe the Sakaki family's movements and piece together a strategy. Yo, that'd be great if it's like, hey, Yuji, we have to pick up that new Legend of Zelda game. The cell phone in my breast pocket buzzes quietly only once. Ever since the kidnapping, it hasn't been doing much of that. There aren't many people who know the number. Most of them are back in the Mihama Academy dorm. I told them in no uncertain terms not to call except in an outright emergency. Under these circumstances, there's only one plausible reason my phone will ring. Figures. Glancing at the screen, I nod to myself and get to my feet.
出かける?
Yumiko doesn't know who it's from, or even that I received the message. Probably a bit disconcerting to see me get up so suddenly for no apparent reason. Yeah, just for a while.
So.
So why? Oh, whoops! I'm just gonna knock down my NEP USB figure. Oh shoot! Stand! Stand! Gosh. NEP's giving is on Thursday. Watch on Twitch 9 AM. Anyway, even so, times like these, you can never ask where I'm going or why. I guess that means she trusts me, but there's still a clear shadow of unease on her face. I'll be back in an hour or so. Lightly patting her on the head, I try to offer a little reassurance. She must understand rationally that I'll be back soon enough. It's only natural to feel a little unsettled when your only connection to the outside world vanishes. Casually descend the apartment stairs and glance around the area as I head into an alley. For 2 quick left turns, I clamber over a rusted old gas meter and make my way down a shadowy lane to a dead end. This is a place I scouted out beforehand. It's a blind spot for pretty much any angle with very little risk of being overheard. I lean against the far wall, take one last careful look around, then finally take out my phone. Oh. JB's voice hasn't changed much since our escape. Same business-like tone as always. There's an oddly upbeat song playing in the background, though. Sounds like she's got her mini component stereo on. We're not exactly thriving, but at least we have our health. Oh, now that you mention it. When did each guy start investigating and mind-reading research? Alright, catch him no matter what! Kill him if necessary. Jamie's like, yeah, no problem. Hey, Yuji, yeah, we got worse, kill you or capture you on site, so, yeah, just lay low, okay? It's not that JB was in on it, it's JB just kind of overlooked it. JB interspersed her retorts with heavy, exasperated sighs. This incident has, of course, been an enormous nuisance for her as my boss. The case officer bears the ultimate responsibility for their agent's actions. She's temporarily demoted until the matter is resolved. They went so far as to set up an internal investigation and determine she was conspiring with me, see? In the end, they decided to act out alone and clear JB's name. It's the only reason she's even able to talk to me like this. Of course, I'm still using my untraceable phone with its encrypted connection for these chats. To be honest, a few hours of groveling at her feet wouldn't really cut it at this point. There's no point worrying about paying her back until I stop running out the tab. Yeah, I guess I'm starting to get the hang of this manual labor thing. Anyway, to what do I owe the pleasure? See, now JB's like number one response prerogative is probably to get Yuji back, no matter what. You know, to like do her friend Asuko justice in her eyes, and to get Yuji back on track to at least you know, be a dog that she can take care of. Tempting suggestion, but unfortunately I'm otherwise engaged at the moment. Should have made your offer earlier. Sorry, but I'm not a big fan of changing horses midstream. Let's drop the subject, shall we? I like how it's like Jamie's like, hey, what about that cactus? Nothing. Leave the cactus alone. Pretty sure it's insect free. JB promptly hangs up on me in typically efficient style. Flip the cell phone shut. No movements at present, eh? The main meaning of that formulated conversation lay in the music playing in the background. A simple system where the genre of song communicates some basic information. Today was a bossa nova Hawaiian beat arrangement, meaning each guy's search is continuing with no apparent progress. No imminent threats, but we can't let our guard down. Now that her name's been cleared, she's probably no longer under surveillance, but JB's a straight-laced military type with a powerful respect for authority. She's not capable of casually leaking me detailed information. So instead, she gives me small hints using this sort of indirect method. Really am due for one hell of a marathon groveling session when this is all over. Look at that. Seriously though, JB, what kind of question was that? Her casual query about my cactus at the end there took me by surprise. I've never owned such a plant in my life. It was a clear reference to the prickly individual currently sharing my room. As for worm-eaten, that should probably go without saying. Well, I guess it wouldn't be too strange to interpret it that way. Whatever the circumstances may be, I'm a man and Yumiko's a woman. We ran away hand in hand. We're living together. It's not hard to see why someone might imagine something along those lines. For a woman of JB's age and personality, this probably seems like the natural assumption to make. Still, the fact of the matter is nothing happened between us. You know? Because this is the Steam version. It's questionable whether Yumiko's interested in being eaten by anyone. More fundamentally, I don't have a clear sense of how she feels about me. At the very least, I think she trusts me. Thanks to JB's unnecessary prying, I've got a new question weighing slightly on my mind. The room's silent except for the irregular clacking of our chopsticks. Yumiko's never been the type to chatter on and on while she eats. In fact, she seems to make an effort to be as quiet as possible at the table. Probably has something to do with that good breeding of hers. I tend not to talk too much during meals myself, but today my silence is deliberate. In other words, instead of trying to make conversation, I'm focusing my thoughts on the matter from this afternoon. What exactly does Yumiko think of me? Oh. It's like something a middle schooler would be worrying about. Yeah, I was gonna say. That said, considering our very intimate living circumstances, the presence or absence of romantic feelings is a serious matter. If I jump to a mistaken conclusion, I can end up making Yumiko deeply uncomfortable on the one refuge she has left. I need to proceed very carefully. Still, guess it couldn't hurt to ask. There's something I've been wondering about that seems tangentially related to the question at hand. Seems like a good place to begin. Hey, Yumiko?
何かしら、風見くん。
Why are you still using my last name? Yumiko's chopsticks stopped dead midair. People shrieking suddenly inside wide open eyes. What? Not a complicated question, right? Just wondering why you've never called me Yuji. I'm consistently using the intimate first name with Yumiko. She's still going with Kazami-kun. Is that implicit signal not to try getting closer? Does that have some other meaning? Knowing that might give me an answer to the more sensitive question I've been pondering. Unfortunately, Yumiko appears to have frozen solid. For a good 5 seconds, she just stares at me. Finally, as if murmuring to move, she begins to flop her mouth slightly open and closed like a goldfish. Rom, 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 rom. You know, some days I wish I had face cam because I literally was making goldfish faces. One day, maybe. One day. We'll see. I mean, I do have the camera for it, at least. The words that finally emerged from her mouth are far from the conclusive reply I was hoping for.
なんというか、まだというか、
Yeah, she's blushing, but you know Yuji. He's pretty dense. If Yuji were any more dense, we'd call him a black hole. Maybe even dark matter. Anyway. Staring down at her omelet as she pokes at it with her chopsticks, she mumbles vague non-answers.
でもどうしてあなたが急にそんなことを聞いたの?
Yumiko abruptly pivots to a question of her own in an attempt to regain control of the conversation. Being honest with her at this point would probably be a mistake. No reason in particular, just a little curious. What's wrong? Were you expecting something else? She was.
いえ、別にそうではないわ。あなたはいつもそうよね。
Yeah, that's true. Yumiko's slightly flushed face pulled back to its original distance, expression changed to one of restrained anger. The omelet she was fiddling with has become thoroughly dissected in a few miserable yellow chunks. In the end, I didn't even get an answer to my question. That reaction was just too ambiguous. From one angle, it looks like Yumiko is actively hiding romantic feelings from me, but you could also interpret it as an attempt to deflect my interest. To be perfectly honest, I'm not the most perceptive man alive when it comes to these matters. Analyzing Yumiko's feelings based off that conversation is far beyond my meager capabilities. Although we know the truth because they even had the meeting where they kidnapped her and everything. Man, the Mihama girls are not to be trifled with. Quietly slurping down my miso soup, I glance over at the young woman in question. Still got an irritable expression on her face. I don't quite understand the thought process, but if she's displeased with me for trying to upset the status quo, I guess she isn't interested for the moment. Literally the exact opposite. That night, even after turning out the lights and slipping under my blankets, I couldn't manage to fall asleep. Yumiko's sleeping in my side as always. As I watch her, her regular, peaceful breathing begins to change slightly. Every once in a while, Yumiko grimaces and moans softly in her sleep. Might be some sort of nightmare. Sometimes it sounds like she's trying to speak, but the words aren't intelligible. Don't worry, Yumiko. Gently touch her forehead, then stroke my hand up through her hair. Her expression seems to soften a little. Maybe the words brought her some relief. My own feelings have been an open question to me for some time. As I look down at Yumiko's face, I can feel something like an answer emerge. The girl's definitely special to me. The vague desire to keep her safe has grown into something personal and affectionate. You know, it took 3 months though. That doesn't mean I'm going to push her to return my feelings. Answering them or ignoring them is just one of the many freedoms Yumiko's finally managed to gain. JB's malicious provocation nearly drove me astray, but originally I hadn't even considered the possibility of making a move. Still, who knows what might happen down the road. To all us stay together, I'll probably get an answer to those feelings eventually. I want to put an end to this fugitive lifestyle as soon as possible. There's no need for us to rush when it comes to figuring out our relationship. We trust each other. That should be enough for now. But not long thereafter, events took an abrupt and somewhat unexpected turn. Human beings don't act on the basis of reason alone. Soon I would gain a new appreciation for that undeniable fact. It's today, 7 years ago. Desires are a natural part of life. They're playing the bedroom music. Putting aside the basic cravings for food, sleep, and excretion that help keep us alive, there's a whole range of secondary urges that are at least possible to endure. Sexual desire is often called the strongest among these. As a fairly typical example of the male gender, I've got a fair amount of lust to go around myself. I can't relate to that, man. My previous employer actually went out of their way to provide us ways to scratch this particular itch. However, when it comes to the female sex drive, my knowledge is somewhat spotty. It's long been said that men and women experience the sexual urges that begin with puberty in very different ways. And I've interacted with a number of females who seem, at a glance, completely lacking in such desires. Takagi Yumiko would be one such case in point. Really? She probably masturbates all the time while you're gone. We've been living in one room for months now, spreading out our bedding only a few feet away from each other. But nonetheless, she's given every indication of viewing me as part of the furniture rather than a member of the opposite sex. It had been a long day on the job. After dinner, I went to bed a little earlier than usual. Yumiko didn't have anything in particular to do either, so she climbed in her futon at the same time and soon fell quietly asleep. Can't fall asleep tonight for some reason. Well, Yumiko's already breathing quietly a few feet away. It's proving very difficult to nod off myself. After a while, I close my eyes and just pretend to sleep. There wasn't really any thought behind that. It's pretty common for me to have trouble sleeping. Sometimes this helps. No reason to disturb Yumiko by tossing and turning around either. But the young woman in question abruptly sits up, pulls back her blanket, and walks quickly off toward the bathroom. Yumiko returns quietly to the bedroom only a minute or so later. I lie quietly, wide awake, waiting for the sound of her slipping back into her futon. Uh-oh. Which doesn't seem to be happening. Well, we're playing the bedroom music, and we just talked about sexual desires, and then we all know where this song and dance is going. What's this? For some reason, Yumiko doesn't seem too eager to get back in bed. Open one eye just a crack. She's standing expressionless in between our futons, staring fixedly down at me. Sleeping noises. After muttering a question to no one in particular, Yumiko quietly lowers herself to the ground next to me, legs splayed out to one side. What's this girl thinking? I decide to keep breathing softly and allow her to think I'm unconscious. Hypothetically, if she viewed me as an enemy or bore some grudge, this could be interpreted as the preliminary stage of an assassination attempt. I'm confident that's not the case right now. Yumiko definitely trusts me. That said, we're talking about a woman who tried to slap me in the face the first day we met. Spent a good amount of time attempting to stab me. That's in the past now, but she's definitely prone to expressing herself in violent ways. Just to be on the safe side, I focused my attention on Yumiko without opening my eyes and waited alertly for her next movement. However, what comes next takes me completely by surprise. What? Yumiko swallows audibly, holds her breath. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! And something supple touches my lips. For a moment I thought it might be her finger. There's no way to feel quite this soft. The instant I feel her breath on my nose, I realize that she's pressing her lips against mine. A sweet, distinctive scent tickles the inside of my nose. What the? Seriously? Aw, crap. Unfortunately, I can't keep my lips from twitching a little. Yumiko instantly jerks back. Yumiko stares down at me in an expression of absolute shock. I don't know what she was thinking, but she's frightened enough to cut things off here. That's fine by me. Hopefully I'll be able to fall asleep soon. No, she's just gonna assault you now. What again? Once again, Yumiko pressed her mouth against mine. And this time she's a lot bolder about it. What is she thinking? Considering how things have been until now, it's just incomprehensible. I mean, if this were, say, Amane! If this were Amane around, oh yeah. Oh. Look at you, sleeping face all peacefully. Brace yourself, Big Sis gonna make sure you have some real nice dreams. Would probably be the thought process, but right now we're talking about Yumiko. It's hard to imagine she's got that sort of sadistic streak, so why is she doing this? Maybe she's just curious? After months of living together intimately with a member of the opposite gender, Yumiko's developed an interest in sex. But the subject's too awkward to discuss, so she decides to try some furtive exploration. That's a fairly reasonable explanation. In fact, I almost hope it's true. Considering how badly Yumiko's unhappy past has weighed down on her, seeing her act in such a human way would be something to celebrate. It would be a sign she's starting to break out of that defensive shell. Even as I'm pondering these matters, the girl continues to mash her mouth against mine in an increasingly ardent fashion. Guess I got no choice but to call things to a halt somehow. You're like, Yumiko presumably believes I'm asleep and oblivious. Keeping up that charade at this point might give her the wrong idea. Normally speaking, anyone except the deepest of deep sleepers is going to wake up when someone's kissing them this intensely. Feel bad about interrupting, but for her sake of mine, the girl needs to learn that she's playing with fire. In order to defend my dignity, educate Yumiko, and prevent any unfortunate physical reactions, I reluctantly take action. Cut it out. Turning my face away from Yumiko, I forcefully tear our lips apart. Flinching with shock, Yumiko jumps away from me. Her eyes open to perfect circles, as it finally dawns on her that she's taking things too far, her mouth trembling uncontrollably. It's a pretty pitiful spectacle. She looks down at me with an uncharacteristic expression of absolute cowed terror, waiting to see how I'll respond to discovering her misdeed. Cut it out, Julia. Using every ounce of acting ability I possess, I continue mumbling in a sleep-addled voice. Seriously, Julia. Say it for when we're awake, alright? Repeat the name clearly to make sure Yumiko catches it. Z's. And then I very obviously fall back asleep, or pretend to. It was a pretty crappy performance by any standard, but... I'm gonna whisper to myself all my deepest, darkest secrets. What's up? At the moment, it's much more convenient for Yumiko to believe that I was talking in my sleep, so she easily accepts the charade. I can hear her let out a short sigh of what sounds like a profound relief. It's obvious how shaken up she was by the experience. Can't help feeling a little guilty. But still, I had no idea Yumiko was interested in this sort of thing. Once again, I reflect on her sudden lapse of judgment. Her previous circumstances were abnormal enough that it wasn't always obvious. But Yumiko has desires like anyone else. Guess it might be time to think about her needs as well. I think this warrants a slight change in the status quo. Tomorrow I'll find the right moment to bring up the matter openly, no more indirect nosing around. It's a rather, an extremely dangerous gamble. But I'll stand to gain a clear answer to that unresolved question from a few days ago. Yumiko lets out a sigh overflowing with ennui, then burrows back under the cover of her bed. Jeez, you have to know what ennui is in this game? I mean, like, I know. So you guys can look it up. Yo, I'm too lazy to translate for you guys. Whatever. I'm reading. Sorry, Yumiko. While I'm at it, sorry, Julia. The few words of apology to my roommate and the long-suffering superior I just slandered unjustly turn once again to my feigned sleep. The next day at 8 in the morning. Next morning, I wake up as if nothing happened and prepare breakfast for myself and Yumiko. I'm off from work today, so there's no real need to get up at the crack of dawn, but I decided it would be best to create an opportunity for the two of us to talk as quickly as possible. Hey! No doubt thanks to her emotionally draining night, Yumiko seems a little languid this morning. She totters off drowsily toward the washroom and proceeds to splash water on her face for a while. Splish, splish, splash. Seems perfectly at ease, not a hint of tension in the air. In other words, she's convinced herself I'm aware of the incident last night. Awfully carefree, aren't we? Let's eat. Just as always, Yumiko chews down the salt-grilled salmon with the small, quiet movements of her mouth. Judging from her expression, she's completely off guard. Not that she has any reason to expect what's coming. Should I really say it? Still more than a little hesitant. When a man and woman live together without a clearly defined relationship, not surprising that tensions of this nature might arise. Be short-sighted to pretend last night never happened. I want to clear the air. Yumiko's probably feeling some subtle awkwardness and guilt herself. That said, the last thing I need is for this to turn some overblown drama. Kind of thing. Alright, I think this calls for a very natural, casual approach. Choose my words carefully, aiming to keep this a light breakfast table chat. Hey, Yumiko.
Nani?
As Yumiko casually sips her miso soup, I ask my question in the most nonchalant tone of voice I can muster. You kissed me in my sleep last night, didn't you? Oh man. She probably chokes on her soup and begins coughing violently. She's choking. I was thinking this might go smoother if I brought it up casually during a meal, but it seems that didn't work out so well. Yumiko flat out denies the truth in a desperate attempt to retroactively undo her folly. This isn't good. She seems to be getting somewhat emotional. But since I broached the subject, can't allow her to squirm out of the discussion. Stealing my nerves, I pushed bluntly forward. Sorry, but I was awake the whole time. A little after 11 last night, wasn't it? Last about 10 or 15 minutes after you came back from the bathroom. Dang. Yumiko quickly falters under my skeptical gaze. What if I did, right? In a deeply mortified voice, she finally owns up to her misdeed. Completely flustered, she begins babbling incoherently. I'm tempted to ask if her conception of CPR is limited to repeatedly kissing someone. This probably isn't the time to be mocking the girl. I stare at Yumiko straight in the eyes and gravely lower my head in an apology. My apologies for not realizing sooner. Yumiko, it's not an excuse, but I generally had no idea you were so sexually frustrated. I bought into the stereotypes of women having lower libidos. Convinced myself my Amina was just an exception to the rule. Uh-oh. Waving her arms around to signal a halt, Yumiko interrupts in an agitated tone of voice. Well, from an objective point of view, I think it's the most plausible explanation. When someone who hasn't expressed any clear feelings for you suddenly makes that aggressive a move, I'm not sure what other conclusion there is to draw. But as I'm reviewing my reasoning, Yumiko's expression grows increasingly sour. The heavy sigh, she moves her shoulders up and down in an exaggerated shrug. The next moment, Yumiko's body begins to tremble with something that seems suspiciously akin to rage. Hey, follow-up question. Was I just incredibly rude to you by any chance? Damn, no box cutters, guys. Come to think of it, we left that box cutter of hers behind when we ran away. Since Yumiko remembered that thing, it's clear that she's abnormally furious. And it's equally obvious where that anger's coming from. My cluelessness drove her straight into a corner. Stepped toward Yumiko, wrapped my arms around her without a word. Sorry, my bad. Seriously. As I embrace her and apologize, she finally begins to settle down a little. I didn't bring this up because I wanted to mock you for having a healthy interest in the opposite sex, Yumiko. She just stabs him right now. Back up. Back up, box cutter. Game over. I wasn't sure if you had feelings for me, so I honestly didn't know what to do. Until now. Yeah. Finally got my answer. Yumiko's been hiding romantic feelings for me. I just wasn't observant enough to see them. My well-intended watch and wait policy ended up driving her to this humiliating moment. I would disgrace myself as a man. So I finally understand. There's no reason for me to keep hesitating. Pulling slightly away from Yuko's body, I stare straight down into her face. Yumiko, I love you. I want to make you happy. I also want to sleep with you. Sound like a plan? Yo, you cool with that, girl? What? Yumiko closes her eyes and lets her shoulders slump limply downward. She heaves a long sigh, reminiscent of a balloon slowly deflating. Smack. Ow! Proceeds to slap me lightly on the cheek. She's not crying or scowling, but there's a distinctly disgruntled expression on her face. We'll see. My apologies. My sincerest apologies. Oh, look at that smile, though. Look at that look. At last, a mildly exasperated smile spreads across Yumiko's face. And she reaches out once more, this time to offer me her hand. I take it and gently pull her body forward to lean against mine. Soon, there, yeah. Right. Feel the weight once again. Compared to when she's standing normally, holding Yumiko's slender body in my arms like this makes her seem extremely small. But inside that body, she's carrying all the loneliness of her past and uncertainty of her present. The more I think about it, the more absurdly heavy she feels. I'm ready for this. Wouldn't have been living with her in the first place if I wasn't. Still, I'm crossing a very serious line here, all the more so given her situation. Okay then, relax and leave everything to me. Yumiko answers my words with a small nod. Her voice conveys simple, absolute trust. That, too, adds to the weight of my shoulders. And then we had lots of sex all day, and now we're here at the afternoon. What? It's been a few hours since then. Having dressed herself and brushed her hair, Yumiko's currently wandering restlessly around the room, groaning at no one in particular. What do you do to her, man? The girl's usual composure seems to have deserted her entirely. Look, can you try to calm down already? This isn't like you, Yumiko. She's like, well, I didn't say it that way either. Aw, she's embarrassed. Having dug her own grave and then buried herself in it, Yumiko laments loudly. It's a pretty charming spectacle, but at this rate I don't know if she'll ever get a hold of herself. Alright, maybe this will help you settle down a little. Pulling Yumiko into my arms, I brush her hair back and press my lips against hers. When I release my hold on her face, the girl blinks up at me for a moment then abruptly grows bashful. Blushing from ear to ear, Yumiko tries to hide her face behind one hand. Not exactly the world's foremost connoisseur of cuteness, but this transformation is just too extreme. The sugar rush leaves me a little dizzy. Well, everyone likes that. Yeah, they did the thing. Yumiko mumbles the words to herself as if she still isn't convinced they're true. I know, right? Pretty unbelievable considering where we started out. At first, communication was limited to slaps to the face and slashes with a blade. Before you know it, we've ended up here. Guess you could just shrug your shoulders and call it fate. Chance and coincidence did play a large part. Even so, can't help feeling this all happened for a reason. Like someone chose this route. What? Hey, Yumiko?
何風見くん
I hug Yumiko again, much more tightly than before, and stroke one hand slowly down through her long hair. Let me say it again. I'm going to keep you safe no matter what. That's a promise.
風見
I'll be where you are, Yumiko. I won't leave you alone. Sakaki Yumiko was always on her own, always isolated. Gaining something new after all this time alone was bewildering. The fog cleared and she realized what she wanted. It almost frightened her. She didn't know what to do. And that's why I need to make this crystal clear. I'm right here, not just to protect you, but to be with you. Have anything to say to that? A slightly apologetic expression flits across Yumiko's face. As she looks at me, it fades into a small smile.
ありがとう
She learned how to say thank you, guys. Thanksgiving is saved! Thanksgiving of Grisaia right here. That's what I was hoping for. There's no need for apologies anymore. The only thing Yumiko and I need to give each other now is gratitude. Alright then, now that we have that settled, let's fix that Kazami-kun of yours immediately. You heard me. You're pretty damn weird to keep calling me by my last name at this point, don't you think?
そんな急に言われても心の準備が
And how long is that going to take?
それはその
You know, like a few years. Yumiko looks at me with a hint of reproach in her eyes. After a moment, she breathes in deeply as if to steel herself.
わかったわ今から帰るから
Aww. Okay then, let's hear it. Once again, the girl takes a deep breath. This time she begins mumbling softly to herself, like a nervous middle school student preparing to recite pi from memory. And then in a barely audible murmur. Yeah. The instant the word squeaks out of Yumiko's mouth, her face appears to burst into flame.
呼び慣れていないからやっぱり恥ずかしいわよ
This contrast is really something. I think I'm embarrassed by proxy. In any case, all my points of concern regarding our relationship have now been decisively resolved. We're still fugitives with an uncertain future, but somehow, I think I've gained a little peace of mind. What's wrong? All of a sudden, Yumiko seems to remember something. Her expression grows oddly serious.
あなた昨日の夜ずっと起きてたって言ってたわよね
That's right. What? Is there something else? Before I can even finish the sentence, Yumiko's thin fingers dig into my arm in a vicious pinch. Out!
ハルデラさんと昔何があったのか聞かせてもらえるかしら
Oh no! She's gonna find out! Say what?
そうでないとあんなことはとっさには言えないはずよ
Oh damn, she's too smart! Yumiko's unexpected night raid helped us understand each other's feelings. It was a truly fortunate event in that respect. But from that day on, I found myself sitting on my heels in penance every afternoon during interrogations into my previous romantic career. Oh my god, it's now February.
各更新上探偵事務所よりの報告となります。調査の範囲を関東一円から東海、近畿地方にまで広げていますが、依然として手がかりになるような報告はありません。
They're literally in the Tokyo Prefecture.
現在、さらに手を尽くすように各所連絡は取っております。他に何かありますでしょうか
King, no spoilers. Because I already know that Sekai thing also has the JB route, the Chizuru route, and Yuji's route. From what I've heard, anyway.
首にしろ。何ヶ月もかけて手がかり一つつかめないような役立たずなどいらん。首だ。
Oh, seriously, since like what? August? That's freaking 6 months.
いくら金をかけても構わんから。今度はちゃんとあの二人を見つけられるような腕利きに頼め。わかったな。
Yo, they should offer a reward.
はい。失礼します。
So Yuji could be like, Yuji and Sakaki be like, hey, we're here to collect our own reward.
もう半年か。聞くまでもないが、 そちらの調査で何か進展はあったのかね。
いいえ、申し訳ありません。手がかりは何も。
Realistically, JB probably has a tough time finding Yuji too because he's very meticulous.
自分たちの飼い犬にもかかわらず情けないことだ。こうもあっさりと逃げられては、裏であなた方が手を引いているのかと疑いたくもなる。
社長、それについてはもう。
信用できる内部調査の結果、ハルデラさんへの疑いはなくなったそうだからな。こちら。
Anyway. I don't know, I might have cut him off. Oops.
他に何かあるかね。
すでに風見裕二、由美子さんの両名とも所持していた携帯電話は破棄されています。今後仮に向こうから連絡を取ろうとした場合、公衆電話からかけることが考えられます。着信があった場合は。
大阪支社からか。失礼する。今取り込み中だ。後で。なんだと？ダメでしたで済む問題か。先方の自宅の前で土下座して粘れ。意地でも確約を得てこい。
What?
あのタヌキをこちらに引き込んでおかなければ今の体制ごと崩されるぞ。
Crafty old bastard, huh?
頭と金は使え。何のために財布を渡していると思っている。もっと動け。
Oh, looks like Michiaki's trying to settle some people down.
着信にはご注意ください。では私はこれで失礼します。
何か言いたそうだな。
いえ、何も。
どうも最近総会を前にして私の周りに不穏な動きがあってね。
Oh, it seems like there's some pressure that Michiaki's feeling.
裏で何か動いても無駄だよ。こちらだってバカじゃない。変な動きをすればすぐにわかる。
I mean, realistically, it's gonna be Yuji that does that.
何のことでしょうか。
白を切るつもりならそれでいい。ただあまり目立つようだとこちらからも動くということだけは覚えておいた。
I mean, good luck, man. You don't even... I mean, you might suspect her, but you can't even find anything on her.
失礼します。
誰にも奪われるわけにはいかないのだよ。誰にもな。
Something's happening. Not sure how many times I need to say this before you get the message. I'm not planning to give myself up.
そう、残念ね。
She sounds like defeated. Once again, JB and I engaged in our regularly scheduled, rigid, formulaic conversation. She has classical playing in the background today. The volume seems just slightly louder than usual. There's no immediate danger approaching, but a good deal of caution is warranted. Comparatively calm state of affairs. Of course, it's never wise to feel completely at ease when you're on the run. The lack of urgent problems does soften the psychological pressure a bit.
最近はどうなの？ちゃんと食事はしているの？生活は荒れていない？
Yeah, no problems worth mentioning. Sounds like a conversation between a college student in the big city and his anxious helicopter mom. Then again, I guess I'm something of a pseudo-son to JB, so there's nothing inherently strange about her worrying about me. It's just more than a little comical under the circumstances. Of course, it's also a necessary part of our carefully choreographed give and take of information, but still. That reminds me, I've got something to report, JB.
報告？何かしら？
Oh, something new. Bought another cactus for my room over here. A worm got at it right away. Got a little worried there for a while. Seems like they're actually capable of coexisting though. Oh, he's telling JB. Oh, something wrong?
そう、それは良かったわね。自然なことだと思うわ。
Yeah. Borrow JB's metaphor to inform her of recent developments. Never the sort of thing I need to go out of my way to report. There's no reason to hide it either. Even now, the cactus in question is no doubt waiting eagerly for the return of its worm.
ユージ、切る前に一つだけいいかしら。
Yeah, what?
共存はいいことだけど、 トゲには気をつけることね。サボテンに刺す意思はなくても、もともといびつなものだということを忘れないで。
That's some way to talk about the poor plant.
経緯を知っているからこそよ。まさか忘れていないとは思うけど、あなたは逃亡者なんだから、それを夢忘れないように。それじゃ。
So I have to protect your dream. We're in the middle. This is another one of Yuji's bad excuses. I'm aware, thanks. Two of us have connected in the midst of a strange and unstable situation. It's going to be very difficult to maintain this peaceful balance for much longer. But for the moment, for Yumiko's sake and mine, I don't want her to be too conscious of that. Change is a constant and ever-present. Time moves us forward whether we like it or not. Bump into other people, unpredictable external factors that knock us off course. Our thoughts, our environment, our place in the world, even our ideology, everything shifts. And even in a world that's defined by change, human relationships are about as astonishingly volatile as it gets. We go from life to death, family to strangers, strangers to family, meet and part, make allies and enemies, crown winners and mark losers. Some gain independence while others sink into servitude, some submit and some rebel. Goodwill can change to hatred in the blink of an eye, and hatred go to goodwill. Sometimes people fight their best friends to the death in the struggle for power. Sometimes people sell their family for trivial sums of money. Sometimes a subordinate who's been treated like a dog launches a coup d'etat. Sometimes a dictator finds himself groveling like a worm before his old throne. I've seen it all. In the scope of things, the case of Kazami Yuji and Sakagi Yumiko isn't anything out of the ordinary. The last few months have certainly been full of changes. Started off as strangers, then mortal ? Enemies. Worried dormmates, the daughter of a client and a representative of a certain company, a guard and his principal, co-conspirators and fugitives, and now a man and a woman. It was a pretty tangled road that brought us here. For where it'll lead us next, who the hell knows? Certainly not the two people traveling it together. Yo, May 19th. 9 months in. 9 months in now. Oh, I think that's a good stopping point. I think we got through our Thanksgiving. We got through some good scenes. There's a lot of really cute Yumiko scenes now, and that's very interesting. I wonder if she's opened up more, but we're gonna have to find out next time. I think I think maybe next time we might even get to the endings at this rate. You know, if it's just these quick scenes like this. But yeah, we did a lot. Frozen turkeys, becoming fugitives, the Smexons. You know, but for now, this is animefanrk2k. Thank you very much for watching tonight's Monday Night Livestream. I'll see you next week for another Monday Night Livestream at 7 p.m. EST. Or, if you're keeping up with my schedule, I'm streaming 3 more days on Twitch at this time. And there's going to be a special NEPS giving stream on Twitch at 9 a.m. to celebrate Azerlane's release of the Visitors from Another Dimension event, which is a Neptunia-related event. So, I'm going to have fun with that. But for now, have a good night, guys. I'll see you, and thank you very much for watching. Peace out.